I'll just use your map because it's pretty good. You may have to spin around, or I don't know, you might have to get up.
Yeah, I'm
Find your way, Phil.
I'll
up,
just
Bill?
stand over here by Sal. Sally,
How are you?
Great.
So you can see the town of Rossville right there. And so in recent months, I've purchased the Mary Lou Gray property. I bought it off of Clayton Richards, once a professional baseball player.
Go ahead.
And that acreage would be this, pretty much this right here, although that doesn't look exactly right. I have some pictures that would be more accurate right here on my desk. Okay? So yeah, that's an old picture, but it's a good picture for our purposes. So I've talked to Chad several times. Where you at?
Yep, I'm over here.
Yeah. And so this is the property that we bought. You know, our business model. And our business model, one of the things that we always are looking to do, we look for dual purpose kinds of farms. This would qualify for that in regards to our business model, and that is we bought it at farmland prices. Even though they were high farmland prices, but they were near farmland prices. And we think that we can turn it into something more valuable. That's our basic mission statement, is to buy farms at farmland value and make them into as much value as you possibly can. Sometimes that means make them better farms. Sometimes it means make them into something else. And this is a something else kind of example that we're hoping for. So this is the property generally. This is not exactly right, but it's generally correct. This was where the old chicken and cattle facilities were all in here. Right now, as we speak, there's some big machines out there grinding the concrete. We've been spending probably the last month, we've been flipping the concrete slabs all up, digging up the footers, and windrowing all of that old concrete material. Today was the first day that we've started to actually grind that material into material like this. It's either big chunks like this, and the other pile is small chunks like this. I just collected these from the piles a little bit ago. The small stuff has a lot of dust and stuff in it. I tried to keep the dust out of my cap. That's my pickleball cap. I'll be using it on Wednesday. So,
Yeah, they used to have an airstrip, so that's probably what you're chopping up.
yeah.
Well, the airstrip was just nothing but grass.
You're kidding, there wasn't.
Huh? No. Or took
Yeah,
the first plane ride.
I've got a plan here that came with the property when I bought it from Clayton Richard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where this plan came from, but somebody worked on it, and it suggests what we want to do in regards to the property, in regards to putting in residential sites, and those residential sites could be, medium priced residential. They could be low to medium price residential. There could be some duplexes that we might want to put in there. There could even be some apartment buildings that we might want to put in there. Some of that has to do with our measurement of what's possible, what could be attractive to the workforce or the residents of the region of Rossville, if I can say it that way. And so all of that's undetermined. This is somebody else's plan, and it's an initial plan, quite obviously. But that plan shows a pretty large water retention area near the north end of next to the north end of the Rossville Town Park. We don't know if that's correct or not, but that's what was designed in there. And so we have the property well surveyed by Star Surveying in Lafayette. That's my longtime surveying company. And we would use them and Kimley Horn. This Nigel is here representing Kimley Horn, would be the next steps that we would be taking in regards to designing something that would have a chance of being the final plan in regards to moving forward. Once we would get to that point where we had engineering work done at two different levels, one for the global property of what we might do over 10-year period. I'm just saying 10 years. And then what smaller piece of that we might want to start with. Say a 10-acre piece. We have about 58 acres. so excuse my phone ringing. I'll get that in a minute. But we probably would expect to start with a small piece of the 60 acres, like a 10 or 15 acre piece. And we probably would do the access off of Rainy Street. Did I say that right, Chad?
Ramey, yeah.
Rainy.
M.
Rainy.
M as in Mary. Yep.
Rainy Street, because I don't have effective access off of State Road 26. I front on State Road 26, but I don't have any legal accesses. My friend Mary Lou, she has all the legal accesses coming from State Road 26. I have a good relationship with her. She knows that I'd like to have some of those entrances, if not her entire property. And she and I are both open-minded on how we might approach that in months or years to come.
Good.
So that's all I have. Nigel came here so he can explain the surveying and engineering steps. That would be the first steps that we would take once we had an okay from the town to go ahead and take a good look at what we might be able to do here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stand up, sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, happy to answer any questions that you guys may have in terms of what the process would look like for a subdivision, something like this, thinking that it's going to be a subdivision. We've done recent projects of this size over in Delphi. They were pretty excited about it. Just got it done through some ready funds as well, and got that going through this past year. And obviously plenty of projects around the Lafayette area. So, we've got a lot of experience with this. Happy to help bring this to life. But the overall process, might look like not understanding what the current zoning is, but there could be a rezone for the property that would need to go forward. And I'm assuming it would go through the Rossville Town Board once it's been okay for the rezone. And then after that, we would go through is this in the town of Rossville?
Is it?
Not at the moment. But obviously, once that happens, we would annex it. Obviously, because at that point in time, once it's done, we'd be taking care of roads and water lines and what have you.
Okay, and I'm not trying to start a fight, but Chan, would you agree with that?
Yeah. No, I don't think that the county would have it. I mean, it's not going to really. I don't think the county would have any issue with that going to Rossville and coming back into Rossville, especially with you taking care of the streets and taking care of. We're in the same boat in Frankfurt on a project with, going back and forth on annexation. The county right now would just assume that it would stay annexed into the city or get annexed into the city. So I think that the good news about our county right now, we've got some really good partnerships, and so they're willing to be, I think, amicable, and I don't think you'd have any issues.
So looking at that, it'd probably start with the annexation process of how long that would take to get that into the town of Rossville, then potential rezone, and then we would go through the Rossville subdivision process and get this up and running as soon as we can. That we're, obviously allowed to in terms of engineering, surveying work that would need to be done, and kind of getting Phil's vision on a piece of paper that would be good for him, be good for the town of Rossville, whatever it might take to get this going. So that's kind of our background. We do a lot of the engineering. We work closely with our surveyor, and obviously we work closely with Phil to get this project to life as soon as possible.
All right. Some of our celebration is me and Chad have talked multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
He's helped me. I don't know if I've helped him or not, but I've talked to him.
He helps us.
Yep.
All right. And so, Chad, if I could ask of you to, I can try to say it, I guess, but Chad has shared with me, and then correct me if you think I'm wrong. Chad has shared with me, I think that the street construction, of course, we would hope that the town could participate in helping pay for that or do things for us in some way or somehow, or help us access grants or assistance kind of money that might be out there and available to us. as Chad has explained to me, there would not be curbs, but we would have a sizable base material, which would likely at least half of it, if not more of it, might use that exact material right there. And I'm going to let you say the inches of that, and then so much asphalt and so much top coat.
Yeah.
Is
Now,
what that
actually,
would be.
when you're in the addition, I'm almost sure you're going to have curbs in the addition, curb and gutter.
Okay.
Ramey Street is because we can't construct. We have to be very careful what we do on Ramey Street near that well. So
Near City Well.
Yeah, so that section right now is currently sheet drainage, so it's probably going to stay that way because we haven't had a lot of issues with it, with the impervious stone that's on it now. So, but once you get into your area where we're going out that way, where you'll have
Yes.
storm sewers, I'm almost positive you'll have to have curb and gutter roads.
Even on Rainy Street coming from East Street, I think it is.
Well, that section probably not. Just the section that we already have.
Okay.
But once you're out there by that brush pile and you're starting to go
Yeah.
through your addition, curbs, sidewalks. Probably it's been, depending on what BFNS has showed me, the base material like you have in your hat there is somewhere between 12 and 14 inches of stone depth, and then 5 inches of total asphalt depth on top of that.
4 plus what? 4
so
plus
three
1.
3.5
3.5,
inches of
1.5.
binder and inch and a half of surface. So.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
All right, and the width.
Now the width is a little up in the air. I know Frankfurt had some issues with Meadowbrook.
Well, it was on mainly because of fire apparatus, and
Yeah,
fire
so-
trucks and things, just being able to get them turned around and get, and then of course on Meadowbrook, the recycling and the trash pickup, because they have the automated tracks with the arms, so they wanted a little more width.
Some of
That's
that,
Frankfurt, so.
well, and then some of that, like I said, we did ask. Liz was here at a meeting where we did ask like minimum road width, and there is some definitions to that because the area plan is going to govern some of this on the major subdivision part. So what the width of the road advice, and then of course the area plan will be communicating back and forth with the council about things that, like maybe if they are requiring, I'm just throwing a number, I don't really know the number off the top of my head, but let's say they want a 36-foot wide road, and we're like, I think that's too wide, we want 30. So then that'll be something where if the town wants it to be 30, then they're going to have to basically overrule area plans recommendation. So but
Okay. Well,
some of that, like Liz Stitzel and Cat Bell at the area plan, can answer you in the general terms what in a major subdivision what the minimum road width is. But I would, like I said, sidewalks. I know how I'm pretty sure I know how all you feel about sidewalks. Sidewalks would be required, and curb and gutter. If we're talking storm sewer, you would want curb and gutter, concrete
Okay.
curb and gutter.
Well, so Chad, you raised good points here in helping me reflect what you told me.
Yep.
And that for us to move forward, we need not just parameters. We need to know
Yeah.
what's required in regards to all that, because that's hugely significant in regards to whether we decide to go forward or not. Again, I said I bought a farm at farmland values plus, and then our plan is either to make it a better farm or make it into something else, whether that be commercial property, residential property, and so on and so forth. Residential, at least in my mind, in Chad's mind, if you don't mind me sharing his thought, it's easy to see how that clearly could work. My understanding is you guys are in position to celebrate the clean water capacity that you have in the city, and the sewage treatment that you have in the city. And so whether those are big enough or not, they're big enough to get a long ways towards providing those utilities.
Yeah, Chad can answer,
To
but I
the
think
property.
we're, 300 additional homes we could.
Yeah, so I always caveat that by saying, so we're running a third of our wastewater capacity and roughly a third of our water capacity. So currently we have 700 connections. We're running about 100,000 gallons a day. we can handle up to 300,000 gallons a day. So when I say 300, I'm trying to be conservative,
That
because
would be
if you
real
start doing the math,
conservative.
then you would say that we could do more than 300, but 300 is a comfortable number.
Mhm.
So
And I haven't counted those, but that's no more than 200. I would say there.
120, 124.
I can't read the numbers on it, so.
and I have the one that I gave you to make
Yeah,
copies
Chad
of.
has
And so
copy.
the other discussion on this, so that was county minimum lot size.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
I
they
think-
live all very tight
yeah,
together.
Where so this is the minimum size. From what I understood, this was minimum. Whereas if you drive out on their new edition, I think
I missed a number.
Yeah, we don't necessarily
Yeah,
celebrate this plan. This is just the plan that came with the property.
yeah. So
It makes some kind of sense as you look at it.
which you guys talked to Clayton about that when you guys met
Right,
with Clayton
yeah.
about not necessarily wanting minimum size lots.
Yeah, because we don't want to end up like the houses off of the McCarty extension, you know, out here close to 26. I don't know what they call that addition where they're about this close together.
Like Benjamin Crossing.
Oh, okay. Right, well, I know the style you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we're not looking at that.
Yeah.
We'd rather have bigger lots.
We don't want to reach out and touch our neighbors.
Yeah. But what's the lots out in our addition, Ben? You know?
I'm on a corner, so mine's big. I want to say the minimum is 80 by 140, Dave? Is that the minimum?
Yeah, that's probably pretty close. Yeah.
I think it's something like that. I'm on a corner, so I have over half acre.
I'm gonna call a second. I got two lots, so I'm like this. So
Yeah, we have to, what we have to do is we have to evaluate what kind of jobs are possible in Kokomo, Frankfurt, and Lafayette area,
mhm.
and within all of that region, if you will.
Yeah, I think
And what kind of paying
yeah.
jobs? What level of
Right.
compensation are those positions?
Yeah.
The school's a big employer, of course. Yeah, no right here.
Right. And I think Shane can address that a little better because with the LEAP project and what's going on there, and also they're talking about more projects out at 28 and 65. And
Yeah, I think well, SB1 has forced a lot of things from a municipality mindset of how do we raise property, how do we raise more income revenue in the municipalities, and of course with the cap and the restriction on property taxes now changing in 2027, the main goal or the main, I guess, strategy is income tax. And so being able to raise, and that SB1 is allowing municipalities to be able to raise that income tax level to a certain amount. I think there is a range on that, but that is where, in talking to folks like Baker and Tilly and some of the other folks that are consultants in the finance world to municipalities, it really is going to come back down to people and how many more people that you can have in your community or in your county based upon the income tax. So jobs and good paying jobs is certainly something that we're trying to recruit, but they need housing. And that's one of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest probably delta that we have right now is the lack of housing countywide. And Frankfurt is addressing it to a certain extent, but it's going to be important for our other communities in Clinton County to address it, because this community, Rossville, will certainly draw Lafayette and Kokomo, as well as Frankfurt, but Lafayette and Kokomo with the Samsung EV plant. Lafayette, Subaru is, they're getting ready to ramp up again. So there's going to be
And
more.
east side of Lafayette is where job growth will be
Oh yeah,
for Lafayette.
yeah, no doubt. And east and south, it's going south.
And they're not
too.
going to build a public school on the east side, so you've got that's a good power, a performance piece that you have there in regards to simply the positive location of your school. I think the size of your school,
Yeah.
even with some sizable grows, is the just right size. You're already just right, but even if you grow, you're still right in that just right range.
I know we have several. I mean, last year I think it's 120. I want to say 126 students came in. I mean, they didn't live in the district. They just came into school here.
Well, I'm sure you got Tippecanoe County doing that.
Oh yeah,
too.
I mean they're coming from all the schools around because that is I seen that they have U.S. News and World Report showed was elementary or junior high is one of the top 100s in the country.
Right here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's
And-
top 20. It's number 20 in the state.
Yeah,
Rossville is.
yeah. So the school system is a big draw.
Yeah.
And I know the teachers there. We have teachers that don't live in Rossville. They'd like to live here, but there's no housing available.
Okay.
And I think my thought is if someone would develop like yourself, you're not going to have problems selling lots.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Uh,
Already invested a lot of money.
around here,
It'll take a lot
Nice
more.
to- it does.
Unless you don't charge me and it's other people don't charge me.
around here, if you think of selling your house, don't say it because someone's going to be at your door.
Yeah, I've noticed that the traffic just because the
Yeah.
house comes up for sale and then the signs are down and the
Yeah.
landscape's changing and all that. So
I mean, the average house right now on realtors.com is about 10 to 14 days in Clinton
Yeah.
County.
Wow.
So
I
it's,
said I put my house on the market Tuesday last week, and I have 4 offers right now.
is that right? Do you ever study the median value of homes in town of Rossville?
I don't know, but I know it's been going up considerably. Considerably.
Real estate information, which
Yeah, I don't know what it is
They're,
offhand.
they're selling at all levels, whatever the
Yeah, yeah.
Seems like the newer homes, like back in our area, they're $200 plus a square foot. Some of the older homes might be like 160 to 180.
Okay.
Are you moving?
Mm-hmm.
Want to be up on the tippy.
Oh,
We're going to have to
But I
replace
know
it.
they're building a house right here on 39 on the edge of town, and they're asking $232 a square foot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on a pretty small lot.
Small lot
Right on
and
the
right on the
highway.
highway, which is another thing. But yeah, I mean, if you have good sized lots, I mean, it would not be a problem. Like what we have back behind Dollar General, back in that area.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've been back there or not,
I have not.
but that would be good sized lots, and I think kind of what we're looking for. And I don't think you'd have a problem with selling them. I mean, obviously, if you have a little bigger lot, you might have to raise the price to,
Mhm.
which is, has around here hasn't been a problem. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Okay. Well, so I've shared with you fairly clearly
Mhm.
my plan for moving forward. The questions I'm not ready to rattle off and what we need from you, all of you, or we need from the town. Let's say from you and others, and Shan, you from you or the
County.
other county officials that we need to interact with. We need not just parameters. We need to know some of the rules that are hard and fast, so that we, as we do the elevation work on the property, and then further the engineering work, and that would be we still would need to do elevation work before we did significant engineering, just like the project that we're doing on Morehouse Road and such like that. Correct.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, one of the things I would highly recommend, going back to Liz, is that you develop a plan based upon what the town is, encouraging here, and then bring that to Liz and her staff, and then she can walk you through before it goes to any type of public meeting or anything, because she can walk you through and let you know that, okay, yeah, that's not going to fly because that's not going to meet our requirement. But because I say that to do it that way, it allows the opportunity for you to plan and put something on paper that works for you financially. And if the town is in lockstep with that, then it can go through the approvals a lot more smoothly, and instead of just throwing something together and throwing it out there, but
So who's Liz? And is she in the room?
Liz is not here. Liz has been really
You'll never
sick.
forget her once you meet her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
This guy.
Liz is.
You better look at her knowledge. Blow your mind.
Liz is an invaluable asset to our
Okay.
county. She's pretty much got every ordinance memorized, so she's a walking, talking encyclopedia of Clinton County ordinances. So, but and we can set that up. You know, we can get a meeting set together. Her office is in Frankfurt, so we can get a meeting set up with her. But I know, you know, in working with her over the years, if there's some type of a plan or outline that you guys are looking at, even if you're taking this in, and just say, hey, this is what was given to us.
Yeah.
You know, is this something that could fly? Because once you get those parameters kind of under your belt, and then it really kind of becomes just a dream. What do you want? You know, what is the desire of the community? What is affordable for the developer? What makes sense when it comes to the pricing of the lot? You know, the lots at Meadowbrook are selling at, you know, around $60,000 a lot, $60,000 to $65,000 a lot over in Frankfurt. And I think they've sold now 13, 14 lots and getting ready. They've already started phase 2. So, and I was just in Delphi, and my goodness, they're built the apartment building in the place that I first moved here in Clinton County. I lived on Front Street. They tore the house down and built a new apartment building there. Beautiful, beautiful apartment building. So, and my question too, are you looking at any kind of mixed use where there would be single family and maybe townhouses or something like that?
Yes, maybe because you told me that.
Well, mixed use. Well, I'm looking at too, as from a developer standpoint, the more density, I mean, the more opportunity, the more
Yeah,
doors you have,
Sure.
the better it's going to be for you
Sure.
too. So, and for us, because it's again, the local income tax is going to be really what we're not chasing assessed value as much as we are chasing a person
Mm-hmm.
and their paycheck.
Sure.
Unfortunately, that's where it's come to.
So I grew up and still live in Benton Community Schools, even though I live in West Lafayette. I have West Lafayette rural address, West Lafayette.
Yeah.
So not so different than Rossville. Otterburn is the closest town, and it's a significant town. It's got more jobs in it than it does people. Is a interesting thing about the town of Otterburn. It's probably only half the size of Rossville here, but it definitely has jobs. It's coordinate distance from Purdue University in West Lafayette is probably closer than what you are here to the east side of East Lafayette, if you will. So I have an understanding of what it takes there. My dad and my uncles, they built houses in Otterburn way back in the 50s and the 1960s. I drove some and bent some nails in some of those houses myself. But so I understand what you're talking about a little bit from that experience. And the other part of the statement is I don't have any experience. You know, we mostly do country home sites, and here anybody can have one of those that wants one. That's a country home site development that we're doing in east side of Dayton. Dayton's an interesting small town too, if you will. And so we just finished those, and we're just getting ready to sell those. So I've even got prices on those. Those are different product altogether. So those are 2 acre. There's 8 2-acre tracts there, and then there's 4 10-acre tracts, and there's a potential for 4 more 10-acre tracts that are off the map. You know, there's on further south. There's more acreage available to do some 10-acre site tracts with home sites. So that's what I know. That I know those kinds of this kind of project I know. So I think that's all I have in regards to presentation here. I'm going to reach to Stan, you, or Shan, you, or Chad, you. You're or anybody else you tell me I should reach to. Liz.
Well, Liz
Elizabeth.
will definitely be
And-
a key, and we can certainly set that infrastructure meeting up. And then, you know, on my end too, from the economic development world, trying to help find dollars that maybe help makes the project make sense from a regional standpoint and state. Of course, you mentioned Ready. That's the only way that Meadowbrook was able to work, is that we were able to receive money from Ready to get that going. We're in Ready 2.0. There's projects that have been designated, but some of those projects may not be far enough down the road to be able to get the funding. So the region has to make some decisions, which you know, we're hoping to be able to pull some money from some of those other projects and put them into something that might be further down the road.
Well, I can launch. That's really good information, Shannon, in regards to some of the grants or money that might be available out there,
Yeah.
federal, state, or further.
Yeah.
We don't want to make the mistake of getting too far along and then not qualifying for it in that way.
That's right.
But yet, I would think that you need to bring it to a certain point where it's more than a shabby looking plan on a brown and white piece of paper.
Right. And that's why I'm
to get
emphasizing
anywhere.
too about having something really nice conceptually.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice marketing piece, because I'm looking at the tracks and go, yeah, those would be nice places to build
Yeah.
on. So I think having that type of piece that we can take back to the region, and then eventually it goes to the state. You know, why we're discussing this whole conversation of changing projects right now within the region on Ready 2.0. Don't know if there will be a Ready 3.0. It's, you know, it's really up to the
Hope
governor.
that make it, obviously that make a big difference.
Yeah, and it can make, and it has made a big
Make a difference on the selling price.
Absolutely.
Which is going to, you know,
Yeah.
some kind of problem for the
Yeah.
buyer. You know, that they can like it all they want, but they got to be able to buy it. You know.
Yeah, and we want, you know, and we want this project to be nice. I mean, we want this project to be very, you know, I always use the word upscale, and people say, oh, we don't. Well, I just think Rossville deserves that. Clinton County deserves having a nice development that will just continue to attract people that will have higher income.
Yeah.
And we need the higher income. I know there's a race for affordable housing, but what's affordable housing anymore? Because I see the pricing all over the place. I was with a couple today that just bought a house that, you know, I would have never paid that much for it, but they bought it, you know. So, and good for them, you know. But the market is pushing that,
Yeah.
and I don't know how long it will push that, but
Yeah.
I know there's a house, the one that towards the golf course, the new one they built out there. I think that went for, was that close to $500,000? I think.
It's like 475.
yeah, like I said, they're running
525,
450 to
something like
500 in that
Uh-huh.
area.
Uh-huh. I know the one out by the cemetery that Scott King bought. That was $500,000 out there on that one. So I mean,
Well, Phil, you do good work. So, and Wendy, I know Wendy real well. So, you guys have some good people, and Kimley Horn. So, I'm very confident that you guys will come with a good product for our community and the county.
you
Alright.
also build houses or just
No,
develop land.
No, I don't build houses. I know people that build houses.
Okay.
Talk to those kind of people. Yeah, my dad, they're all deceased. My dad and his brothers, they started a construction business back in the mid 1950s, and that continued through the 70s, maybe even into the 80s.
Do you have any kind of a time? I know it's hard to say with all the hoops you got to jump through, but do you have any kind of a time frame that you're looking at?
Well, I'm
possible.
grinding concrete right now.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're going to have the property cleared. That's going to make it much more presentable
Yeah.
for the further surveying once the crops get off, which we're pretty close to that.
Mhm.
And then if we collect positive kinds of feedback on it, then it makes sense to move on and get to what you're talking about. Let's get something substantial that we can look at, walk out there and connect with. And that would have to do with Kimley Horn and Nigel here. in regards to what level of engineering that we do. We do a level on the whole property, surely we want to do that before we started, and then maybe a more finished engineering plan for some smaller section of it.
And I would say that almost any of these dollars that come from grants and things like that, connectivity is highly positive. I mean, connectivity to park, and I'm talking about whether it be to the town, connectivity.
Oh, yeah,
You know, being able to
Okay.
walkability and connectivity
yeah,
to be
yeah.
able, especially to the park. If you can
Yeah.
connect somehow to that park,
Sure.
Uh,
Well, we're
It's
right
right
there.
there.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
right there.
The helicopter was blowing our
Yeah.
courthouse over on. And so was the monster truck was
Yeah.
probably throwing rocks out in the field. I don't know. But
And you could then, advertise that, market it as a park community. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
well, I'm
close to the park.
impressed with your park. It has everything but a pickleball court.
Well,
Yeah, they need
We're
to
working on
that is something that is on the radar.
Okay.
Because we do have pricing for it now, and we just got to figure out from Chad possibly where to put it and get it done, and so probably within the next, I'm hoping within the next year or so, we'll have pickleball available out
Yeah.
there.
Well, I got paddles and balls.
I heard you was pretty
You
good
Ready to play
at it.
now,
We could go to
right?
the basketball court, set up some benches or something, and we could do a makeshift game. Yeah, I looked at your basketball court, your old basketball court. You could put 3 pickleball courts on
Yeah.
there
Okay.
So.
Okay.
easily too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing we are looking at, and also we're looking at kind of rehabbing the walking trail. It's another thing out there.
Yeah, it's already right there. You know, it goes
Yeah.
right next to it.
It needs to be redone and widened.
Walkability is huge.
Yeah.
Walkability is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very impressed, by the way, with your town festival. I was there yesterday, Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, the whole town and all around town comes. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
packed. The whole town was
All the
packed.
way from Lafayette to Rossville, that people had stuff for sale.
And garage
Yes.
sales everywhere.
Whatever barn or house was along there, they were offering something for sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a big deal.
you were notorious for sure. All right, here's some other. These are just. This is a recent survey. If anybody wants to take a look at that, and then this is that's not far off there on the wall. That's an old picture, but this is give you a current aerial look at what's going on there, and then the woods that's in the middle of that. That's what we've basically doing away with. If you want to drive back there and look at see what's going on back there, you'll see that it doesn't look anything like that. And they're grinding maybe even right now, but you'll see what they've been doing. Just driving back there. Don't run over a mountain of rocks. That won't go well. So I'll let you guys pass that out. So are we done with us? I need to let you guys get on with
I just have,
bigger and better things, maybe.
Thank you.
this is obviously your forte. Once you figure out the minimum lot size, figure out the roads, can you give a more exact number of lots? Because if this was the original, I think this was
There's probably a lot more.
I think
there.
this was really small.
Yeah.
Lots
Yeah.
of pretty small. I think that one of the
Well,
one of the parameters must have been how many lots can we possibly get in there?
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, and the pond on there was actually prior to Clayton Richard, and the thought was a very decorative,
Yeah, will it be
not just retention. That was the intention of that big a pond was almost decorative, not necessarily just stormwater retention.
Yeah.
Which, as the guy who
I would kind of
oversees
figure
a lot of the operations, I'm not a big fan of that unless there's going to be an HOA to take care of it, because ponds are a maintenance problem. So I understand they have
Don't
to
say
exist
nightmare.
for stormwater retention, but
those are pretty. That should be a pretty nice feature to have no backdoor neighbor.
yeah,
and then
I
actually
get that.
Fronted up on the park, but yet you've got the water retention even as a buffer
Yep.
from
And
the park.
I
That
get
makes those pretty
the
positive
intention
lots.
of it, but and we had another developer look at this map since, and he was not a fan of the pond. He said, no, that's just way too big. So didn't see the need for it to be that big.
you said that you were going to have access off 26, or you
I do not have a legal access, but I do own 226 right here. You heard me talk about this little sliver here. There's a house there. there's no control of Mary nor me, Mary Green nor me, neither one has any control over that. But she owns all the way around that property and the original residence there, where she still lives, and all the way over to the fire department. And within the property she owns, she has probably 1, 2, 3 or more official entrances right now off of State Road 26. And the one that goes right by the house is a
So
good
you
width.
couldn't-
It's
you couldn't-
asphalt, it's even,
Yeah, I think
it's
you're right.
even hard surface.
Yeah,
Isn't the
yeah.
one he said he doesn't have any control over? Isn't that where Beth Ramaley lives? She rents
Yeah.
that house?
Yeah.
But she rents it off of Mary.
It's like a duplex.
Oh, I thought they sold it. I
Yes.
thought they bought it.
So you're
Oh,
saying
they
you
bought
couldn't
it?
get an
They-
entrance?
Oh, I
In
could.
2019 they were
It's
renting.
really hard. I've tried to do
So,
this with the state.
I thought
It's not an easy
Oh.
process.
Maybe they bought it off of
to
her.
get that. And of course,
They were trying to
problem
wait
to bring it
Craig
in
was
here,
gonna
and
end
then
up
you don't have room to put homes,
when he
you know?
retired.
So if I could work with Mary and get over here, then I've got
Yeah, having more than one
Opportunities.
entrance in
Yeah.
there would be.
I've got opportunities, and then even if I did have a narrow space over here, I would just have some homes backing up to 26 rather than accessing 26.
I think 26, you need something off 26. I mean,
Eventually,
Yeah.
That's why I've talked to Miss Gray many times,
Yeah.
and all have been positive conversations. There's a whole lot of chapters to those conversations, but I told you where we are right now. We're in a good place.
Yes.
They bought
Right,
it.
so me and Nigel will step aside, we're gonna actually go look at the property.
You might go back in behind Dollar General, back in there, see what's back in there.
All right, I'll take a look at that at least, yeah.
Okay. Go farther back, the original part started out back in the,
Rainbow Drive.
Yeah,
What
it's-
you're looking for.
Okay.
Look for the rainbow.
Yeah.
Find the pot of gold.
Yeah.
Let Chad know.
don't get lost.
Yeah. I haven't found it yet.
Thank you guys for coming, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Couple
Thank you
business
for having
cards. If you ever need anything,
Thank you.
happy more to.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely work with Phil, get that exhibits, kind of
I
show.
gave mine to him.
what's going on.
Can I have one also, please? I gave mine to
Your
him.
card.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was trying to share, Bina.
No, go ahead.
Thank you.
I got plenty. I need to get rid of.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yes.
Thanks very much, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Is that what it is back there? 58.546
I'll need
acres?
this for pickleball.
I was
Yes,
gonna
man.
say, well, make sure you get the rocks out.
Yeah, don't call it back.
Yeah, I always have that problem.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Well, I guess now we gotta do a budget, right?
Yeah, I'll let you guys go. I gotta get football practice, but I will say that this Phil is good people.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of projects, and I really feel more confident with Phil in this scenario than I have had with anybody. So,
He's been there, done that.
and he's from this region, so he understands the whole, north central Indiana, attitude, small town, real attitude.
Well, he put a lot of research into it before he
Oh.
committed to buy it. So
Yeah, he reached out. He's called a lot of people. So let's you and I get together.
yes,
Get a meeting with Liz so they can get some more
I'll
parameters.
put it out there.
yeah, absolutely. Because
I'm
like I said,
excited.
just like he said, road width alone would change the price by hundreds of thousands of dollars on construction. So
Well, like I said, it wouldn't have F&K. They wouldn't have been able to do what they did with Meadowbrook if there was not some grant dollars to offer. Because infrastructure is the challenge.
Yeah.
The issue is the biggest cost. Our infrastructure is the biggest cost.
Lance,
Stanley has a silver
Yes,
You
it
take
is.
it easy.
Issue.
Did he pick a ball?
No,
Okay.
I can barely spell it.
I will tell you this, I'd highly recommend talk to me about some grant dollars for the pickleball club, because there's some folks that,
Like IU,
we worked with Kirkland, so I'm on
Right.
the board, so.
Okay.
So they're, I think it was about 10,000 that went to Kirkland, so,
okay.
so let's get with that, because they're very much interested in doing that kind of thing, so.
And IU, who else was involved besides IU?
There was, Well, there was a lot of local donors that just
Okay.
people donated.
Okay.
And, but IU was the main donating factor. So I think the overall project was like 20,000 and they gave 10. I believe IU was 10.
20,000 for how many courts?
I think there's 4.
Because we had 100,000.
It was very reasonable. I was shocked how much.
Now, that sounds way
I'll
low.
have to check the number for sure, but it was like 4 courts. I don't know how many courts you looking at.
I think 4, it was 3. 3?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crenshaw.
Well, the good thing
Who did it at Crenshaw?
probably was Brian, I'm sure.
That's who's, we was like 100 grand, right?
I better shut up because I don't want to get in trouble. But
They gave you a deal.
We'll be calling you about those grants.
well, yeah. So, but yeah, that would be one opportunity for sure. So, community foundation. So, hello, come on in. All right, guys, have a great day.
Is
Okay. Okay.
that boy limping?
It's just my feet are small.
Are they?
And there's all the cash
Thank you, baby.
and from these.
Get some moves. Got it. Love you. Dad. Baby. I didn't know you were coming in, so what a surprise. I did it.
That's what it's okay.
Yeah, sure. He said so.
He said,
All matters.
Love ya. Bye-bye.
Bye, Doug.
Okay, now,
Is he selling flowers?
Mums.
He's selling.
I guess we start on the budget. So,
Where do you want to start?
well, wherever we need to. I know last time we had a little bit of help here and
We'll be fine.
we,
The packet, you still got the packet I gave you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so the first, this one here, like I said, I gave it to you at the last meeting for, to get ready.
Just scoot over
Yeah.
here. We'll share. Which one
So you'd have a
is
chance
that
to
first?
review it.
how did I get that? I don't know, remember that.
Yeah, it was in, because I kind of gave it to you at the end of the meeting, so you could review it. I guess I probably could look at.
I
I
can
can
copy it all
express it.
off. You want me to real quick? It won't
Well,
have
mine-
all the pretty colors, or I could.
I don't know.
I can color it.
So,
But this one is mainly just to show you where your cash balances are at, because depending on how much you mess with the budget, you could end up eating into some of your cash reserves. So the main point on this one was year to date on the general fund, which is a lot of what you're looking. General fund and motor vehicle highway are the 2 biggest ones when we look at the budget, at least from my standpoint. So
yeah,
You know,
right there.
That's
a
2021.
good,
Yeah.
of course, listening to some other towns and cities meetings,
Remember this, yeah.
a good number to have is you want 50% of your appropriations in a cash balance going into the first of the year. Right now, based on the budget Brooke and I had to take a stab on, you've got 120%
Oh,
cash balance. So in other words, if you receive no more money, you'd have enough money to go all of next year and then some.
that sounds good.
But it is a good thing. So, but
We don't want to do that.
yeah, obviously, yeah, you're going to get revenue. So that's what this is for, and it just tracks it from goes clear back to 2016, and we've seen the general fund has built. Unfortunately, with the legislature changing the rules, now it's just thrown so you're doing 2026 as a budget, nothing changed. So you've got a 4% growth quotient to raise the budget you'll get 4% more tax levy, for next year. 2027 and 2028 become the problem, where you start getting into the income tax, and I don't claim. I've been trying to listen to as much stuff as I can listen to. I get the feeling that a lot of them still aren't sure what exactly is going to happen, but the income tax, everybody agrees, and the authority that will have to grant you implementing that income tax, as I understand it right now, is the county council. So the county, you would have to go to the county council for let's say the 2028 budget when we fully go into this property tax relief, and you would have to say, well, we're losing all this money and we need an income tax to make up for the lost property taxes. And it is on their decision, how much. But it's capped at a certain percentage, which once again, I haven't heard all the exact numbers on the income tax percentages, but they have, I'm not saying they would, I'm just saying they will have the final say, not the state. The state's giving it to the county, giving the control of it to the county. So that's where everybody's getting. If you listen to like Frankfurt did their budget hearing, that's where people are just everybody's a little uneasy about it. But like I said, with your cash balances, I still say that the Senate Bill 1 is so bad in its current form. I can't imagine there won't be pressure to fix some of it in the next legislative session. It was kind of like the governor did his thing. He didn't get what he wanted. The legislators didn't get what they wanted, and we've got this half measure. That's just my opinion. So like I said, really nothing changes. We're in good position with our, so that leads. This is just backup data, and then this is some of the committed funds that we looked at last year.
Okay.
It has some calculations on it of just predicting the year-end cash balances to see how bad. All told, it's good news. It's not bad news. So this is just background to show you where your cash balances are pretty healthy. So that leads into this, which is just the updated version of what we did last year of line by line. So it starts with the general fund. First line is the town council, which I figured you want to wait to do salaries till the very end, or you want to get through the budget first and then look at the salaries.
Yeah.
Budget.
Okay. All right. So I didn't change the council. I like I said, that's something you guys can talk about when you get to the salary portion, but the town council, that's where you guys' stipends comes from, is all from the general fund. So, and then the next one, there wasn't quite enough in there to cover this year. So the clerk treasurer, I did, her and I bumped that up a little bit because there probably have to be a transfer that takes place toward the end of the year to make that right toward the end of the year. So the next one, we can put Ed on the spot on the next one. Is the next one around here? I guess I could be.
He says, "What's
So
going
the next one is the under your
Town
salary,
marshal.
Town marshal. So the Ed talked about the potential full time.
Oh,
So we bumped that. If you look at those lines, I bumped that.
First year from now.
I forgot.
And I don't want to confuse it too much or too fast, but so that represents the general pays half of the marshal's salary, and PS public safety local option income tax pays the other half.
Okay.
Whereas the next line, the deputy marshals, all comes out of all the part-time deputy marshals all share that next line.
Okay.
All right. So,
That's going to be a decision for you guys.
So you're only going to one deputy, is that right? That's what you was talking about?
That's totally up to you. What we had agreed upon with Dave was, if I do come back full time, that you don't have to provide insurance for me. You just pay my monthly retiree insurance, right?
Mhm.
Which was $200 a month. Now, like I said, it's up to you guys what you guys want to do.
Why are we not paying for your insurance? Does your wife have insurance?
Well, you will.
It's just
You'll pay the
it's
premium.
retirement,
That's
so it'll save
It's
the
way
town a
cheaper
bunch.
than it's way cheaper than anybody else's.
Is this?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
mine would be $200 a month for my retiree insurance
Oh.
versus I don't know what you pay for everybody else. I don't know. Not my business.
It's way more than that, I know.
it's
Yeah.
way more than that. Yes.
Yeah.
So, with everything going on, I talked to Ben a little bit about it. If you wanted to do it next year, or if you wanted to wait a year, it's up to you guys. Now, whether you go with me full time and then we keep the part time, or you go 2 full time, And then we have some part-time hours still to give.
Because you were wanting to go full-time though, right?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I eventually want to come back. That was, I said I was going to ask if I could stay there until I retire
Hmm.
and then come back full-time. That was my intentions, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're retiring January.
Don't have to.
Okay.
He's waiting to see what happens here. Is
Yeah.
that what it
Yeah,
is?
I can stay another year there
Oh,
and do part-time. It's all depends on you guys,
I see.
what you guys want.
My thought is, with this budget thing and with the state legislature, would it be smarter to get it in the budget now? Chad, I'm kind of directing this at you.
Oh, yes, yeah, you're speaking my language. I mean,
Yeah.
'cause
Do it now?
Yeah,
I don't-
because
you
of
have
that.
the cash balance to, so if you cut your budget now, then, you know,
It's going to be hard to justify.
Right,
It's hard to justify
exactly.
raising it back up
It's
again,
better
so-
to do it now than try to wait another year to try to do
Yes.
that.
yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
I guess it just depends on your salary, what you're at, what you're looking at for your salary.
I mean, just where it's at.
I think the number we put in there was based on
Okay.
going full, at least full-time on the rate, the hourly rate he was at now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get 35 plus, so that's part of it. And where's the other coming from here now?
Yeah, now I did, we did Form 1, which like I said, there's a correction on that one. What
On
are
Form
we,
1?
no, what are we showing there? We showed 35.
Mm-hmm.
So her and I went back in after I talked to Ed on the paperwork we did on the DLGF website. We actually put in 38
Mhm.
just to be on the safe side, because that would have
Okay.
based on his hourly rate. So then we also bumped PS Lowick to 38. But that I had made this before her and I went back in and made that adjustment. So, and I have, once you get through, I have copies of the Form 1 that her and I did today, or we looked at it to make sure that, so we can make sure we get all the math right.
But there's also other monies that would go towards that, his salary.
Yeah, so when we get to the PS Lowick, which is a couple pages back in that document, then the other half of his salary is there.
Okay, okay.
But it also still leaves the 80,000 for deputy marshals.
Okay.
That's several.
For all the part-time deputy
Okay.
marshals. So that
Okay.
still gets you probably more, more on the hours that covers, but I suspect that covers more than
More than
40
needed.
hours a week, I think. So you'd have a 40-hour marshal and then probably, maybe, I don't know. You'd have at least 40 hours to split between all the part-times. Right? With the 80,000 on the deputy marshals.
Well, we're setting right now. We're setting. We never changed it, and we don't hit it all the time. But we changed that to 100 hours, a week. It was 80. We bumped it up to 100. Right.
Which included you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, like I said, we don't hit it, but it's there
Yeah, so
when we need it.
the 80,000 would theoretically cover that 60 hours then.
Yes.
40, yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Unless, now here's the other part to it, is depending on if you go back to the 2 full-time. And then that's gonna leave 20 hours for part-time coverage.
Hmm.
Or you just do 1 and part-time.
Decisions.
You know your personnel probably better than we do. What's the preference on that?
Well, we have one that would definitely go full-time.
Uh-huh.
Is he gonna leave if he doesn't get full-time?
Is he gonna leave?
I asked that. Okay. He's not upset with part-time.
No, I mean, I've told him if we go with 2 full-time, he would be the one.
Okay.
We just have to look at budget-wise on insurance for him. Right?
Yeah, that'd be the thing, because then his insurance obviously would be a whole lot more. Unless he's got something else that we'd be paying. Okay. Yeah. So budget wise, with that insurance falling in there, it'd probably part-time be the way to go, I think. You other two agree with that?
I guess.
I think we get better coverage.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And only thing I request is 10 weeks vacation a year.
Is what?
10 weeks vacation a year on top of that. So we're good with that.
Saturdays.
Over how many years?
Isn't that what we agreed upon?
Yeah. Dave said that. Yeah, I like it.
I don't remember that, do you, David?
Over how many years is that? 10 weeks?
You get that, I'm gonna be right behind you.
Don't pick it now.
Well, this is true.
Oh.
So that's
Yeah, I
Full-time.
let them.
Yeah, I
decide.
think full time. I think you just need to do it, but just because of what we have to face in the coming years, it's just a smart thing to do.
well, like I said, with that number, that covers it. He doesn't have. You guys don't have to make a decision about that tonight. Well, I suppose until you get to the salary, then you're gonna have to
Okay.
decide what you want to do on the salary. So.
Okay.
So that brings us down to crossing guards, which we didn't change. We're not burning
Yeah.
through. The reason I made it on this piece of paper is this is your appropriation report from the end of June, so it shows you how you've been doing for 6 months.
Mhm.
When she
yeah.
does the budget, she has to enter a lot of the information through the end of June, so you kind of see where you're at after 6 months. Didn't see any need to raise the crossing guards up. We'll seem to be doing okay. So, so the next one, that is the currently the 10% you're paying me out of the general fund. So utility, it should, it's just not enough room for it to say utility and street superintendent, but. So yes, I bumped that one. Like I said, I don't know. In your packet back there is some stuff on salaries, but I bumped it just so there'd be enough there, depending on what you guys decide to do. So it went up $500. The assistant maintenance one is the 10%. Sean is currently getting paid out of the general fund, and that also went up $500.
Okay.
There is nothing under that next one, which you see blank, and it says, I don't know why it's in there. Her and I haven't been able to get it to come out off of the appropriation report. So the part-time laborer, so that's the 10% that we pay all the part-time laborers out of. So everybody from, I think we only have 2 classes now, utility laborer 1 and 2. So that's the 10% of all those people, which if you notice, I didn't change it because we have, at the end of June, we had 73% of that appropriation left. So
Okay.
after 6 months, I don't, even if you
Yeah.
do give them a raise, I don't think that's going to be
Still
an
wouldn't
issue.
eat it up.
So,
Okay.
Social Security, we bumped a little bit, bumped to $500 just based on the other ones that we bumped. Same way with Medicare. So perf, the 3% perf, we did bump because she's doing it a different way. Her and I are working
It's
on
a way
that.
Leanne set it up for
Yeah.
me. She,
We
she
did
has
bump
it
that one because
coming out of an 8901 account.
because with him coming on full time, that's going to change the perf amount a little bit. So we put some more in there.
Okay.
Whether it needs to be that, so we bumped that $4,000. I don't know that it has to be that high, but we didn't want to take any chances there running out next year. So the next one is so that's the 3% that goes in the annuity. The next one's the 11% the pension benefit. So we bumped that $3,500. Health insurance, we bumped $3,000. And that's just, is it yours that's coming out of the general fund?
Health insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think mine's coming out of wastewater.
Yours is wastewater and Chad's is,
Or
no,
Sean.
no, yours is water.
Mine's
Sean's
water, and
is
Sean's
wastewater.
is wastewater. So we bumped that just for hers, because yours is cheaper than ours anyway. Yeah, that's what I thought with just the kids. So that's, well, yeah, there's 66. Where are we at here? I'm gonna have to get my ruler out. So
Tell
we're
them
at
to get the
60%. Yeah, we were at 60% on that, which is why we bumped it. We didn't bump it a lot. So 60% left, that is. Office supplies didn't change. We did bump $12,000 onto the trash contract, knowing it's probably going to go up.
Do we have any other people bidding for that besides?
Well, we have
Not yet.
you guys have to have the lawyer draft an advertisement,
Mhm.
legal advertisement for that.
It's
So
been months ago, somebody called me and said, hey, what's going on with the or not waste management, but trash pickup? Is it open for bids? I said, well, I don't know, but I can't remember who. That was like months ago. I can't remember who was it.
I was unaware of it, but I will
Yeah.
say, so I think you guys is like 12 right now for just the trash. And I was not aware until my wife showed me mine. In Frankfurt, I'm now paying 18.
For
And the
trash
city of Frankfurt picks it up. So I did not know mine had went up that much in Frankfurt. So because it was 12 and now it's 18. Now they pick up recycle once a week. But just to give you a comparison, we know that's going to go up as soon as they bid it. So hopefully the 12,000 is enough. We just took it from 108 to 120. So
Yeah.
Police cars didn't change. For maintenance on police cars, 10,000, right? Yeah, because him and I have talked about some of this. So didn't change anything on building maintenance. We still have 75% of the building maintenance left for this year.
That's good.
Police equipment was 10,000 for next year. I guess I should. You can see my line's kind of blurred there. 70%. He hasn't used a lot out of police equipment, so I think there's still 70% left right now. Fire contract bumped at 2,000 based on the numbers Gokenauer was throwing out for next year. Because I think he at that last meeting he said we put 20. I think it was under 20 is what the number you guys threw out. So. Travel expenses, we bumped a little bit, $500 on travel expenses.
Is that for when you have to go have training or something?
Well, yeah, because some of her, since she's going to more training, so it was to cover a little more of that training. So,
Okay.
because usually on ours, like when Sean goes to his conference and I go to the conference I go to, water and wastewater usually pays for that.
Oh,
That
okay.
isn't, none of our training travel comes out of that, right? Or does it?
I don't think there's a police travel, so I think it does come out of
Yeah, so maybe it may come out of that fund too.
Because we'll have our training in Indy again.
Yeah.
I don't
And
remember.
there's
And how long is that, a week?
It's 3 days.
Oh, 3 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll be good.
And
There's
there's-
like 47% left.
There's
Well,
3 of us that go.
Yeah, you probably
Maybe
that doesn't
only
have French
2.
lick on it.
not yet, no.
Okay.
So
Do you need
Well,
to
and there's
use
other
it?
places you can pull that from.
Yeah.
Like if you hadn't used some of your other
we have Steve.
funds, then
Yeah.
you can pull it out of police equipment and education funds
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
So.
Are we boring
Isn't
you
this
to death?
exciting enough for you, Dave?
Oh, come on, Dave. Where are you going?
You gotta go mow your lawn?
I'm gonna go mow yours.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're comfortable with it, I mean, because like I said, ours typically just comes out of water and wastewater. So
Yeah. It'll be fine like
Right.
that.
And telephone service is very annoying. I mean, that's $6,000. We didn't change it. And believe it or not, I mean, Brightspeed, we've used half of it.
What's telephone services?
That's
Obviously,
just here.
It's
And well, here in the, I think you pay a percent of that to the police station. Is that the 2
Yeah.
telephone lines? Oh yeah, I guess that's more than I think.
The 2 here in the police station.
For a landline, it just seems.
If you guys ever get bored, you might want to shop that.
Um,
We'd love to get rid of Brightspeed.
They'd have to change your phone number for everybody.
We've talked to Gitel about trying
Not
to come up
necessarily.
with something to get some wireless, because they
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, you could change
Gitel has
it.
fiber right across the street. It's just getting it over here is the problem.
Or you could go with T-Mobile. The tower's right there.
No. Yeah,
Be a
that's
whole lot
something.
less than that.
Because we actually switched. They were charging us $100 and some a month just to have a landline at the wastewater plant, just because it was considered a business. So we went to voice over internet through Gitel, because all it has to do is run the alarm dialer, and it's $25 a month instead of $100 a month.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't change it, but yeah, that's about. I mean, you can see how much we went through. Legal advertising, we didn't change. That's just legal advertising, $1,000. So the insurance was this is our blanket policy, not the health insurance part. So we didn't change that because I don't know if you've gotten the bill yet. Last year, the third that the general fund paid was less than $10,000.
Okay.
So it would have to go up a lot to hit that 14. To hit the third that the general fund, the water pays a third, wastewater pays a third,
Okay.
and the general fund pays a third. We didn't change the bonds. I think they're still $500 for the bond, Sarah and Brooks bonds.
Okay, what's that? Is that what we pay on what
Pay
is
it the
bond?
first of the year.
Just
We
pay on
each go to the
loans?
courthouse and we each get a bond.
Oh, so you guys are bonded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just for Sarah and I's bond.
The electric 30,000. Now Brooke and I did find a little where she's now fixed. So you'll notice it says 50% after 6 months. Some of the NIPSCO stuff was actually we found out was getting paid on that appropriation, because when you jump down to fuel, which is NIPSCO, we haven't spent any of that money.
Yeah.
through the
It's
end
because
of
it was
June.
going out on that.
So it was some of it was
Electric
going out under
appropriation.
the wrong appropriation.
So I'm gonna see where we get to at the end of the year,
We may have to.
and I can change the appropriations on my vouchers. It's just in order to do that, I have to void every one of them out.
Okay.
And I know exactly what to do. It'll probably take me about, I don't know, half hour to an hour to do it all,
'Cause you don't want to
to
do it till the
void
end
all
of the
those,
year.
and then redo the vouchers and reprint them all and kill more trees. So if I don't have to do it, I'm not going to. But if I do, I will. It doesn't matter. The money's coming out of the same place, water and wastewater in general or whatever. But it's, for whatever reason, I was taken out of electric and not.
Well, it was a good thing when we were doing the budget.
We're like, what? He's like, why do you have 100% of that left? I don't know. Let me look. Oh, it says electric,
Yeah.
and it should say fuel or gas. I think it says
It's
gas.
fuel, yeah. This
Fuel,
is general
yeah.
fund fuel.
Yeah.
And then police clothing was the next one, 5,000, which I think you were still fine with just for police clothing, 5,000.
Yeah.
That was the same as it was this year. Now I'll point out, which he's probably gonna, because you got other things to talk about, right? The cars and stuff, or not? When we get to some of the other cumulative funds.
Well, maybe.
Okay, all right.
As long as you don't take it.
Have I taken anything yet?
Not yet. We're not done though.
Well, I guess I would point out, if you look, he doesn't have a lot that's going out under his equipment and clothing funds, which leads to some of the things he may want to talk about. So, and he has a lot of this stuff he's held on for a few years now of not having most of the police car budget left, most of the equipment budget left, which those took me a long time to figure out. These appropriations don't affect your cash balance. So if you don't spend them at the end of the year, it just reverts to which is why you have over the $700,000 in your general fund, because every time you don't spend an appropriation, it just stays as a cash balance. It's just not appropriated. So, I think that covers the general fund. So at the bottom there, you see now that other than the changes we made, which I'm going to compare to this Form 1 that we did. So the main change was the Marshall went to 38. And I was just going to check if we did change anything else on there. Well, yeah, I guess I did it in the back. So 5. So you guys have got. Yes, so that's correct. The only one we changed was the Marshall. On this Form 1, it's showing 576,000 total for the budget. On here it's 573. That's
Where are we at?
yeah.
So go to the
So-
1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4th
same page.
So yeah, well, no, you guys. I think you probably already made a note on this first page here. We changed the Marshall from
Third one down from the top.
Yeah.
35 to
38.
38.
At the very bottom, it should say, it might have not copied right. See, it should say 570. It says 573. It should say.
And like I said, I'll hand you copies of these
570.
official DLGF. This is just what you can go online and get.
9,000.
But I just don't want to confuse you right now looking at it in this form and then looking at it. But I'll give you copies of all this too, so you can double check our math. So,
Should say 576.
so it should say 576 instead of 573, which is an increase of 40 instead of 42,500. That's a increase of 45,500, which is more. Doesn't take long to figure out that's more than the 4% growth quotient, but the cash balance you have supports it. Which, as just a small point, we raised it more than the 4% for this year, and we're still right now doing. We have almost more cash right now than we did when we started the year, which represents that we're not spending. Like I said, he hasn't touched a lot of his police funds. 75% of the building maintenance fund's still there. Yeah, I've got thoughts about maybe encumbering some of that money in the next year to maybe look at the next phase of hard surfacing some of the lot over there at the shop. But otherwise, it's just we have it there as a placeholder, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to spend it. So anyway, that pretty much covers the general fund, unless you got any other questions.
The only thing I would like to see is change the park from like 35 to 45.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just if
it's really
there's not a whole lot of stuff at the park. And just if we're gonna buy equipment, ask for grants. It'd be nice to have more money to put down, say 20%.
Money to match.
Yeah, on a grant. Just trying to get more equipment.
Well, we did do let's see, last year. This year we did 35. Last year I think it was 50, which was kind of an anomaly. Normally it's not 50. It's been 20 for many years. Then we've been trying to bump it. So yeah, I mean it's.
So
And then just looking at
At 10,000.
Add 10,000.
Yeah, we're going to do pickleball too. That's not a
the
thing.
cash balance,
Yeah.
we've never ended up losing money out of the general fund. Just seems like
Well, it goes back to
start
his
putting
point
more
on
money into services for the community.
It goes back to his point on showing as we go into a potential debate, going into it with a budget that meets our needs rather than cutting from it before we get into that spot. So it meets the community's needs.
So if we do that, does that change this to 586? We had the 45 here, add the 10 there. Okay. So the draft for 2026 for the generals, 586,000.
And the change is 55,500.
Okay. Then 52,500 for the increase or decrease.
55,500. That's what you got.
55.5, yeah.
Yes.
55.
Yeah. 55 there.
MVH is on the next page. I'm still a little. So I fixed a mistake that I made that we made last year on this. Most of it is the same. We bumped just the highway street. First one that's me. The second one is Sean. And we must have put plenty in there. So even with that, I just kind of left that one at 6,000. Which we may need to do some math on that based on the percentage. Let me find that in the packet here real quick. But the rest of it. So the big one that you might have questions on. So we wanted to shoot for 100,000 in paving going into this year.
That was my question.
Yeah, and so. That represents half. That's why I put an asterisk next to it. The other half is in our MVH restricted. So it's on the next page. NVH restricted is the 50. So you see such a large increase there. That's why, because we were shooting for 100,000 total on paving, and we had done some math wrong because of that split between the restricted and unrestricted. We ended up with 50 or 52. What was it, 53,000? And that was because of a math error and that split between the restricted and unrestricted. Now there is going to be a round of community crossing grants next month. They have to be shovel ready. We have no designs on any new paving right now. We don't have a lot to throw at it right now, but the theory is if they'll approve this budget, which once we submit this, the DLGF may balk at this number because of our cash balance on the NVH is not as high as the general fund. So they may or may not balk, which is fine. We can at least start high and we can cut back from there. Because then, if we could come up with just guessing 150,000 in matching funds next year, what is that multiplied by 600,000 worth of paving, and that's almost not quite double what we did this year. So, but we will have, out of that cost, we will have some design work that we'll have to do ahead of it with BF&S probably. So,
You have any streets in mind? I know you talked about Crestview.
yeah, I would say Crestview's on the short list. It's
I think West South Street should be on there.
West South Street.
That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna eat up a big chunk.
Yeah.
That's,
That
and
needs-
I'm just struggling with West South Street because how far do you take it? Chester's got the same, you guys have the same problem down there. It's been paved over the curb. That is a real pet peeve of mine. I don't like paving. I understand why they did it back in the day, but if you have the chance to do a grant, I'm a big one on doing it right. So it'd be my recommendation to take it down below the curb and get it back down to curb level. Well, the problem is then you run the risk of do you hit a thin spot? Right now it's got a lot of asphalt, which is what's making the strength of it right now. So if you take it down below the curb, you run the risk of having to do new sub base through the whole thing. And like we did on North Street, east and west North Street, where we had to just take the whole road out, Gaddis Street up to Ramey, where we had to take the entire road out, put in the 12 to 14 inches of stone sub base. So is at that point, I end up throwing it back at you guys and say, well, is it worth it, or do you just take 2 inches off of it and put 2 inches back on? But yeah, I do not like. I understand why they did it, because money was so tight that it was way cheaper to just overlay another 2 inches on top of it, which covers the curb. You still get some drainage off of it, but I don't like it. So that's why this dip on West South Street, that's why the dip is there, because when we fixed all those catch basins, we put that section back in at curb level. So you can see how much they've added because of that dip there. But then, you do that, widening it, we've talked about widening it. Well, you can't really widen it enough to get anything out of it. I mean, it's not like you're going to widen East or West South Street enough to be able to park a car and still get two-way traffic without going into everybody's front yard. And then now you got to do the sidewalks so for me, it's one of those can of worms situations. Do you open the can of worms and just go all the way with it, or do you just take 2 inches off of it, put 2 inches back on, and call it a day? So yes, that's food for thought on South Street. South Street's a bit of a conundrum for me. So now, of course, Crestview is pretty straightforward. There's a few places I prefer to patch the curb. If we're going to do a grant project there, we can get 25% match on the curb and fix some of those bad spots in the curb. But yeah, and then sidewalk, same deal. I mean, if you go to South Street, you can get 25% match on the sidewalk at that point too. So yeah, anyway, food for thought, I guess, for another meeting. But you have the potential to do a lot of work if we can get that budget to go. So pretty much everything now. Which don't let me forget, that guy's holding that truck in Chicago, so I do need to talk about that tonight. But until tomorrow, he will hold it till tomorrow. Because I said I had a meeting today, so that new equipment number is a placeholder. Because unfortunately, that money is we're going to end up maybe having to pull it from CDIP this year. And whereas we may not need that money for new equipment next year, which it could be transferred, or if some other piece of equipment came up that we had an issue with. So in theory, like I said, if we move forward with this truck, that was what was on the equipment replacement schedule for next year. Then that could eventually be transferred into paving, or it could, but right now there's no, if you approve this truck that we're looking at, there's nothing that's calling for that 36,000 right now. Unless something fails between now and then. So it looks like it's a little bit, and then fuel, I mean, we left fuel. If you look at how much money we got left in fuel right now, we didn't see any need to bump it. Fuel doesn't seem to be trending up, and we had 60% left. But other than that, everything else, unless you had any questions, repair of equipment, we left the same. So look, it went up 24,450. Like I said, I feel pretty good about it, about them passing that. Not saying that we have to cut it, but we'll just have to see. So no questions on that?
Yep.
All right, local road and street. So we didn't end up spending all, we budgeted 20,000 for this year. We didn't end up needing it all for the community crossings we did this year. The only thing I'd caveat that, I'm showing 20,000 again for next year. We only get 10,000 in new revenue every year, roughly. So we can't spend 20,000 every year, but since we didn't spend it again this year, since the bids came in lower, went ahead and left it at 20,000 for next year to try to go after those the community crossings. Because that's a local road and streets, a community, you can match community crossings grants. So then the next page was the MVH restricted, which is the other 50,000 of the 100,000. So seed it. This one, if you leave it at 120, I'm sure they're going to tell you to reduce this year's appropriation because it generates about 30,000 in new revenue every year. And there's I don't know, there on your cash balance sheet, I think there's a little over 200,000 in it right now. So we haven't spent any of the $120,000 appropriation for this year. Well, until I ask you about this truck. So. And so it's right now it's gained, get my reading glasses out. So we've gained year to date, we've gained 28,000 in it already. So it must be generating more than 30,000 a year. So, and there's $202,000 in it right now. So we still have the rest of the year. We'll be collecting some revenue. I know Ben's thing on the 120,000 was in regards to Kirkhoff last year. So I left it the same unless you want to, like I said, I could see the DLGF telling us that we need to lower this year's, because this year's appropriation is 120. If we say we're going to spend 120 next year, they're going to say, well, you can't do that. You don't have enough money to do it. So, but if we're only end up maybe getting this truck this year, which is 30,000, then we'll just lower the appropriation for this year. And then they'll approve the $120,000 appropriation for next year. Once again, you don't have anything earmarked for that 120,000. It's just there. If Kirkhoff was to move and you guys decided to support something, then you have it available to spend if you so choose. So, Riverboat. We haven't. Let's see. What have we spent?
Is that for us to spend to go to a riverboat? See if we can make
Yeah,
some
it's
more?
that one's
Exactly
a
what
little
that means.
It's a little misleading. It's
Let's go.
only what did we figure today? It generates like $10,000 a year in new revenue. Now you build up, savings wise. Where are we at here? It's built up $79,000 in cash balance, and you're showing a budget to spend 40. But once again, the only caution I would give you is you don't get enough money to spend 40 every year. So
What can we spend that on?
anything.
Anything.
Seed it.
Restricted.
Seed it pretty much has no restrictions. Cumulative capital development has no restrictions. Right now, smartly, cumulative capital development's been earmarked for mostly public safety stuff, either fire or police stuff. So. And then, but it could be used on about anything. But previous administration kind of earmarked that for public safety. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I left it the same because you haven't spent any of it this year. Yeah, on Riverboat. So
Yeah, either public safety or public services.
yeah,
That'd be pickleball court,
Mhm.
helping repave the walking trails.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. So any of that. I think the way that like CCD, when I looked it up, the way it's specifically any municipal purpose, unless the town developed a resolution specifically saying it could only be spent for this, which I have no record that we ever did that. So,
Okay.
rainy day is 5,000. I mean, we typically don't spend it. That's the idea. So, I did remind her, Brooke, that we. At the end of the year, there is a caveat, and I'd have to. Well, her and I will both have to. She'll have to ask her crew of other clerk treasurers,
Or mafia.
the mafia. My belief, because the previous administration had done it, that you can take 10% of any unused appropriations in the general fund at the end of the year and transfer that into rainy day. We didn't do it. It requires a resolution, which probably the lawyer will have to help with a little bit, and then that way you could just kind of take some of that general fund money and just set it aside in the rainy day fund. There's not a lot in rainy day. There's
32,000.
32,000. So, but that would allow you to build up a little bit in rainy day, and just kind of pretend it's not there. So, so that's okay. That brings you to Lowett Public Safety. So, yes, we already, her and I, because I was just looking at Form 1. So, what we submitted, we did fix it on the, so that should be 38,000, not 20.
38.
Oh, you mean not 30?
Yeah, not 30. No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
38, not 30.
38, they're not 30.
Okay.
And that makes a total of 76 available for the marshal. All right, yeah, 76. So, and I was just checking to make sure we fixed it. Yeah, we're showing 38 on here. And then we also changed Social Security to 2,500, not 2,000. Medicare went to 600, not 400. And then we showed, now it's going to be, so we showed here for machinery and equipment from Lowett, we showed 30,000 instead of 20,000. You're up. As to why the increase in the equipment. So
For the vehicle,
yes, that's where.
yeah, we're coming up on to replace the Durango. Thoughts?
How old is it?
5 years.
Got lots of miles on it.
What's that?
Got lots of miles on it.
Just issues.
Oh,
If we traded that, I think we would get a decent amount of money out of it. Or that was Chad's help. Do we? I mean, we don't. So it doesn't gain anything. Or that one does, doesn't it?
Well, I was just looking at so that your cash balance in Lowett is 96,000, and it's grown since the fiscal year, so it'll easily handle. Basically, I think my thinking on the 30 was that was half of a police car if you had no trade in. So, and then then you got the riverboat CCD to make up the other half.
Excuse me.
And which is why I kind of brought up that he hadn't been using all of his general fund appropriations. Because the whole idea was to save up to this moment of where he might be replacing a vehicle. Because you couldn't afford to spend 30,000 in equipment from Lowett every year. We typically always put a placeholder in there, but whereas this one, the 30,000, you're pretty much saying, I think we're probably going to spend that.
What's the ballpark though? 60 to 65 now? Because I remember the Tahoe we got a deal on.
The Tahoe, we did
I would
get a
say
deal.
it's 60 plus.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So I guess probably not quite half then is what I'm.
I think we spent over 60 for the Tahoe, and that was everything.
The occasional.
Cage.
But I'm just
outfit,
talking just to
yeah,
purchase the vehicle. I think the Tahoe was what?
57.
That was like 54.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Who'd you get that through?
Bloomington, not Bloomington. Sorry, Fort Wayne.
Okay, and they're kind of a dealer that deals with the state and stuff like that.
Yes. How we got that one? We were waiting on a truck. Truck kept getting pushed off. Well, this guy called and said he had someone cancel, so we were able to pick that one up relatively cheap.
Cool.
So
What are you looking at the next time?
probably the same thing, a Tahoe or a truck. Just depends on the price.
So you think a pickup truck?
Yeah, like I said, look at the Tahoe or the pickup truck, the trade-in value on them. You know, Chad and I've talked. If it's a truck, it's a truck, right? Still decent trade-in value on a truck. Same with Tahoe. So
Just not the Rams so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
The Dodge products aren't. I've just not been impressed with Dodge products for police vehicles over the years.
Well, the state police are having major issues with the Durangos right now.
Yeah.
right.
So I just
Major issues.
So same goes for we're not having major issues because we're not putting as many miles on it as they are. But there's issues with that Durango.
So the other part of it would be you could throw into CCD, which we haven't got to CCD, cumulative capital development, but you seed it, CCD, riverboat, any of those can, or you can take it from a mix of all of them. Where's CCD? If you jump ahead to CCD, I think
You
I think I screwed that up actually.
You
Brooke.
probably
What?
pulled out a riverboat.
What'd you
Seed
screw
it
up?
and
I
load
screwed
it.
up CCD.
Oh,
Let me see here if I really did or not.
So if you look at a truck, what are you looking at? F-150? Is it going to be EcoBoost or like what do you?
Yeah, I think we look at it seems like everybody's having good luck with the Chevys.
I didn't really screw it up. I just didn't show an
Carroll
increase.
County
We
just
actually
got-
increased it 10,000.
Are they running with
Yeah,
a
see, I said 60
Turbo
and was
Max?
50.
oh,
It
not
should
the
say
diesel,
plus
four-
10.
oh, got ya.
four-cylinder turbo or are they running
Yes,
with
they're
the 5.3?
I think they're full.
I got it. Yep. I see what you're saying.
At the time, I think that was because of the fire truck. But,
Yeah.
I have to talk to conservation officer. He just got one, and then, like I said, one of our part-time Carroll County deputies. He just got one of the Chevys. Very happy with them. So something definitely to shop around.
Well, I mean, I know Shoemaker, Frankfurt City spoke very highly of of their fleet and the cost of the Explorer versus the Tahoe, and the
Yeah.
Tahoes have not been in the shop; they've been going. So they've been really happy with whereas the Explorers they've had the maintenance when it like his example was a water pump was $3,000 to get a water pump put on an Explorer, and they'd had done a few of them.
Clinton County's had some issues with their Tahoes, with the windshield wipers stopping and headlights go out. Has something to do with that control module.
The body control module,
Yeah. So we've had zero other than the guy that did the upfitting screwed up. So
So yeah, if you jump to the next page, that's what I mean. I showed it. We showed it right on Form 1 on the DLGF, but it should say plus 10,000 on the CCD.
About 3/4 of the way down,
Yeah, on the next
where it
page.
says 60,000
You're on the last
and
page.
50,000 right beside it.
Oh yeah, you're right. The last page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an increase.
10,000.
That's an increase of 10. I showed it 0. So, and I think that was this because I did this before you guys talked about the fire truck. So, which now you're doing it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves, unless was there any other deals anymore? What other things? Was there a radio payment for next year too?
There's radios this
Each
year and
thing
fire
to
truck.
me.
The fire truck is mainly because they took it out on 2 runs this year and it didn't work.
Which you guys voted
Sounds
on that.
extremely horrifying to me.
Well,
Yeah.
House fire.
well, I guess they
Fire truck shows up and it don't work.
Yeah, down here.
story
it
was they
didn't
had
work
trouble
down
with
there.
it just ramping up pressure when they were cleaning the fire station for the pancake breakfast. I mean, the same truck that they're getting rid of.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it
Yeah,
just,
it's
To
got
me,
problems.
it sounds horrifying.
yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys.
and my thought process is if they go through, if this goes through, well, whenever the subdivision goes in, it will change the assessed value, which then is going to change the percentage we pay. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'd rather do it now to
Yeah.
where Rossville doesn't have to pay as much. So,
Plus, if you go to 26, there was a
yeah,
pretty
it went up
substantial
like-
increase on
went
the
up like
price of that vehicle.
50,000.
Absolutely.
So,
16% of 50,000 would be responsible for, so there are 8,000. So
yeah,
we have to pay.
yeah. And honestly, they did get a pretty, I think, a significant amount of money for this vehicle they're driving now, which is really kind of unusable.
There's a breakdown from Gooch. We were 73,000.
Which you guys were going to use all your CCD, which was 50 for this year.
73,800.
It was out of 2 funds.
Yeah. What did we agree the other part was? Do you remember from the
CC,
previous
she
meeting?
wrote it down. CCD and
Well, she wasn't here, but
Sally wrote it down.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
yeah, because we had to split it. Well, you can split it between, but I know it was.
We have to
it
go
was-
back through and watch YouTube.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and watch that because, like I said, I was.
Split between 2 funds.
Was that Riverbow or was
No.
that Seed It? Or were we going to do Seed It? I think you were going to do Seed It.
Pretty sure it was seeded and
And because you had to come up with 20. So yeah, the reason I say that is I'm going to correct myself when I said that we hadn't spent any and have Seed It. Well, if we committed that, then what I'm asking for the other truck is also coming out of Seed It. But which
Yeah,
is
but
still
we're
enough
taking-
in there, but it's just I just want to be transparent about that. But yeah, so yeah, I don't see it as an issue. You got a few funds to pull the other. Let's say it's 30,000 is 40%. You got plenty of places to pull the other 60% out of, assuming the fire department doesn't buy another or doesn't need to buy another truck next year.
no, because I expressed concern at the core meeting. It's like, you're not going to come to us next year and say you need another fire truck. Because I was like, you have 3 other trucks that are over 20 years old. And they were basically saying that this truck they're going to buy will always be their first out truck. And then 95, the rescue truck that they're keeping, will be second out instead of first out.
Yeah,
It should
and
help.
the current truck's 25 years old
It
too.
should help extend the
So-
life of that truck, being it's not going to get used as much. Because like if you come to us in 2 years saying you need to spend another $500,000, I'm like, probably none of us are going to have the money. Because right now they're having to pull together just the down payment for them to hold it until the first of the year.
Well, but they're talking about maybe borrowing the money to get it right away because the bank is talking a 0% interest loan for them.
Oh, wow.
Or they can get the money now and then the other, like
Owen Township.
Ross, Owen, and Clay Township, then they'd put in like half, and then the other half after the first of the year.
Whereas you guys had the flexibility to just say,
Yeah,
there's our portion.
yeah. So we're done, And I just said how it may be 3/4. I'm not sure exactly what they're putting in, but I know it'll be enough to cover it. And the fire department was, like I say, working with the bank, and bank's talking possible 0 interest. So
That'd be awesome.
Well, that pretty much, the cumulative capital cigarette tax one didn't change because you don't budget a lot in there because you just don't get a lot of new money in it every year. And then you already talked about cumulative capital development. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped recycle and compost. That didn't change. And then, public improvement used to be called the promotional fund. That's what, like, throwing candy
Parade
out in
candy.
the parade and stuff like that. You know, the promote. I know there's other things it can be used for, but yeah, we don't.
Flowers for funerals.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A gift for somebody who had a baby, which we didn't buy Austin anything, but I think you guys did something for him.
Yeah, the guys ended up. Sean, thanks to Sean. He
I just said to
encouraged
Sarah
me
the
to
other
chip
day,
in,
did
so.
Austin's wife or girlfriend ever have that baby? She goes, I don't know. I think so. I go, we never got anything for him.
No.
So then we called Chad and he bailed us out. He goes, yeah, we
No,
did.
Well, Sean
we
bailed
did
me
something.
out. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was the one that suggested
It's like, oh,
it,
good.
so.
I thought, man, that's kind of crappy of us not to get him anything.
No.
Next year I'll have to make sure Nick's a little more conservative on his candy throwing.
Was he aggressive on it?
I mean, we ran out.
He threw candy like he was receiving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we turned on welcome, he was out.
That's a long ways to go with no candy.
So then, yeah, we pretty much, the hook lift, I guess that'd be a good time to talk about it. So I originally showed a $55,000 budget to try to swap the hook lift to a tandem axle. Yes, I went up that Thursday after the meeting and looked at the truck because the guy said he was closed on Fridays. I knew the festival was coming up. I got him, I looked at the truck, talked to Dave Borner, who was one of our mechanics, and then I talked to Bobby Hall after I got back, who's Rossville Truck Repair. It's a used truck. I mean, I beat him up on the tires and the brakes a little bit. Got him from 32 to 30. I hit him at 28. He hit me at 30. I didn't agree to it. I did give him the $500 check to hold it. So I'm not agreeing to it. I'm just, I do want to hold it. It's going to need the back brakes at some point, which both mechanics I talked to said that it'll be the last time we'll never put brakes on it again for what we use it for. But front tires were good. The back tires some of them were good. I guess the bottom line is I would really like to get him to a lower number, but 30. He said at 30 he would meet us at the state line, which shaves 2 hours off our round trip. So, I guess I would like to try to hit him again, but I guess I would need you to authorize it up to.
Is this your truck you're looking at for
Yeah,
tomorrow?
truck. Well, no, I went to Chicago and looked at it a couple weeks ago.
But the deal for something is done tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to commit either to have him send our check back tomorrow or say, yeah, we're going to buy it. So I was going to try to take one more stab at it, but I would need right now to authorize. So he's showing the balance at $29.5 right now. So I gave him the $500 check. So
Is that 30 out the door or 30 plus out the door?
no, we don't pay tax. So sales tax. So that's it's $29.5. Yeah, okay.
What year's the truck?
99. So ironically, the same year as the one the fire department's getting. And it's also the same, which I think I said, it's the same year as the truck we have. The difference is, to give you an example, he reinforced the truck. We've had this truck currently for 15 years? 2009, so almost 16 years. It's basically an old Chevy pickup cab on a heavy duty frame. It was never meant to be really a heavy duty truck. We grossly overloaded at times. So on a single axle with a single frame, the truck likes to twist a lot, and it's some of those loads of brush are top heavy anyway. So you're going down some of those back roads, you can kind of feel the whole truck kind of wanting to tilt. Then we had the issue with the injectors, and then which we replaced the injectors. Then the transmission stopped working last year. We towed it, luckily only about 2 miles to Bobby Hall's. He was able to, the filter in the transmission was completely collapsed in on itself, and then there was a couple of screens he cleaned out. Luckily, cleaned everything out, put new fluid in it, new filters in it. It's been running ever since. So I don't want to get caught with the truck when that transmission fails. So this guy, he said, well, what do you have? And So I described to him, and he said, "I'll give you $5,000 for it." And I was like, "No, not as the truck should be worth at least. We just put new tires on the back of it. It should be worth at least 10." But he said, "Well, that's just a testament. I don't like those trucks." He said they just weren't heavy duty
He didn't want
trucks.
it then, yeah.
So he didn't want it. So that kind of reinforced my opinion that we need to not wait too much longer to unload it. Whereas the international, like when I worked for Eric had several of these international 4900 trucks. They were known to be workhorses. They're no Cadillac comfort vehicle, but they are known to be workhorses. So, and they're not emissions. The engine, like I said, the engine's a known engine that's reliable. This engine had been just rebuilt, I think 20,000 miles ago. The only downside is the manual transmission. But it's already a hook lift. It's already a better hoist than we have now. So then that would allow us to, let's say we get 10 out of ours. So instead of $55,000, by the time we get this other truck, I intend to maybe try to use our truck through the end of the year. And then that way it gives us some time to figure out the tires, the brakes on this other truck, and then start using it after the first of the year. So that's the plan. But like I said, I also, because the guy asked me a lot of questions why I was beating him up so bad. I was like, yeah, because I said if it's a piece of crap and I recommended to the board that we buy it, then I'm going to be blamed for it. So, because I had a lot of questions, but I just want to make sure that this is another truck that we can get another 15 years out of. And since we're not hauling recycle like we used to, like to Frankfurt every week, I really think that this truck, we'll have to do maintenance to it, no doubt. It's a 26-year-old truck, but I think it'll be it's a lot cheaper. He was working on a 2020 chassis where they put an old hook lift hoist on a 2020 chassis, and I think he was around $180,000. He was going to sell that truck. And so 30 is a lot for what we do. Of course, that truck was going to be on the road every day. We're not driving this truck every single day. But when we need it, like on a water main break or whatever, we need it. So we need it to work.
Yeah, and we're going to sell ours for hopefully 10,000. Basically, we're 20 grand into it,
Yeah.
and it's something that we
Then
need.
you got
And
tires.
money, so obviously you say, man, put tires on it, but that's kind of expensive, but it's not outlandish. So
No. And like I said, you do the right tires, and you don't have to worry about like recaps. They were all recap tires. I'm not a big fan of recaps, but he also reminded me the reason we were blowing recaps is because we were overloading the truck. And I said, well, yeah, you're probably not wrong. So, because we've blown all 4 of those. Well, Dave Seifert was driving it one time and we blew one of the recaps on it. So, and then it always does some damage every time it blows one. So, anyway, I would just need it authorized up to the 29.5, and if I can beat him down, I'll try to beat him down. But
I probably need a motion from somebody.
yeah, you'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion that Chad can buy the vehicle he's looking at, or as least as he can get. Oh, that's
Up to
enough.
29.5.
Up to 29.5.
Yeah.
I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, done.
So then that leaves the most. Now I did include in your packet, which you'll see when you get home. These are the breakdowns on the water and wastewater on the expenses, like where our expenses have been going, which leads into the very last and the most fun thing that you have to deal with, which is the salary stuff. So that actually I had an extra copy. I had an extra copy of at least that. So one of them is what you guys did last year. The other one is just some thoughts. You'll notice I left some blanks on some of them that I don't feel like I should be saying anything about. So
Salary spelled wrong, by the way.
oh yes, slurry.
Sorry.
He was drinking.
Yes,
He was slurring his words.
we'll get that.
We know what you meant.
Yeah. So then I gave Ben had asked me for this, and I forgot to print it out until tonight. That is your current salary ordinance that shows the percentage that each person's paid out of what funds.
Oh,
Because Ben had asked me for that because of maybe wanting to move some percentages around a little bit. Which,
My thing was we got to figure out how to decrease operating expenses to where, at least for the water, because I mean the water, we're going to hemorrhage a lot of money this year. It's definitely not sustainable.
yeah, we saw a little rebound with that insurance check and just trying to cease any not already active maintenance things that we're doing on the water department. But yeah, it's definitely not been good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, the easiest thing to do is change the percentages that the salaries come from, instead of like, say, utility street for Chad, instead of 40-40, 10 and 10, change it maybe like just the water portion to like 30 or 35, and then move that extra 5 or 10% off to MVH or general instead.
MVH does have a rule that I can't be
The
paid
cap.
more than 10%.
Gotcha. So to me, it just seems that somehow we have to decrease the operating expenses, at least on the water department. The wastewater is, for the most part, year over year in the green.
Yeah.
But the water, I mean, the last 5 years we've lost. 1 year was 75,000, and my guess is this year's probably going to be 75 to 90,000. Because we're averaging almost 26,000 in revenue, and the average expense is 35,000. So I mean, 9,000 a month.
Yeah.
Hard conversation. Something's got to change. To me, the easiest way to do it is change this percentage around.
Yeah.
Even like changing Brooks from 30, 30, 40 to 20, 35, 45. Like,
Can I see that real quick?
yeah, just,
I think I got
just like
Yeah, I didn't
switch
get
the
one of those.
percentages around
Mm-hmm.
and at least ease the load up on
Water
somehow, to where at least water can
should be easy
at
enough.
least break even or
Okay.
make just a little bit of money, and then that way, if say things need upgraded out there, whether it be controllers, pumps, valves, at least that there's a small cash balance that we can draw from instead of just running in the red. I know I'm leaving, but it's, to me, that's scary.
Yeah.
That, and then it's, if we have a bad winter, I mean, it could get worse.
So you're saying what on clerk treasurer?
No,
Waterworks,
I'm
and
not
We
really.
could
I'm not
probably do
really.
it on several.
Yeah, I'm not really just saying.
Yeah, we may have to revisit Form 1 on some of those on the general fund. which
Yeah,
is
it's just,
minor, but
To me, it was an easy way to decrease
Yeah.
operating expenses for the water department would be just to change how the salaries are funded, the percentages. I'm not saying it's got to be 20 on the water, 35 for the wastewater, 45 for Brook, but somehow, to me, that's the easiest way to get
well, another one I thought
relief
of.
on the water is
You said
change
my-
the percentages.
My
on
health
some
insurance
stuff.
is coming out of the water now,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe just swap it. And mine should come out of the wastewater, and then Sean, since it's cheaper.
Yours
can
and
come-
Sean's are very, very similar.
very close.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. So,
Mine's
but yours
about
is
1,000 different, but your
Yeah.
guys is because you both have a spouse and children
Yeah.
is super close.
okay. I didn't know.
But I could do that. That's a way to. Let me see.
If there was like several $100 difference, I mean, a month.
I got it right here because I just made it.
Uh,
See the difference.
And there were a couple other things that I saw on like the water, wastewater, that I'm sure there's a very easy explanation. but like the billing for both utilities is way up from previous years. Like
I saw that.
like way up.
And
I don't
some of
know
that
what
may have
that
been-
is exactly.
Well, some of that may be some of the supplies that maybe they only order every so often. To be honest, I hadn't even asked her about it, but because it's mainly, my understanding, it's mainly like postage. Like if we had to do more postage,
Gotcha.
that's what it looked like. The stuff that was coming out of that was like anything to do with like the postcards.
Yeah, because I noticed the biggest one is Waterworks. I mean, for the most part, every year is between, on average, $1,500 to $2,000, and this year is projected to be $7,000.
Yeah, I just saw that.
That's why I was like, that's a major increase.
Which
I'm
it
just
looks like I doubled
just-
that.
I'm just trying to like, I was
But yeah,
looking
even
at things
2024 was only 1848. So
and trying to figure out like
yeah,
what it
I
was.
didn't-
$500 difference, 522. I mean, that's something though.
That's something. Yeah.
I mean,
We could switch
I'll
that.
flip them each year or each month.
But so he was asking about this, and I took the number. Did we have, because our billing, like, is that postage? And because there's a appropriation that's coming out of in water and wastewater. So I don't
For what?
So it's totally that.
That?
Yeah, it's on the wastewater and the water.
Wastewater and water, our billing costs have went up quite a bit. Is that like postcards and postage and stuff like that?
Well, we just bought a bunch of postage because stamps are going up. So Sarah went over and got a bunch recently. That could have been it, or that could have been some of it.
So I did take that number and double it. So depending on when they buy it, I may be wrong. Maybe
That's fine.
we're not.
I'm
gonna
just
spend
looking at the
another
project,
but
like
it
what they
still is.
spent through 6 months in the projected.
Yeah, because some of those when I was sure not to double it, those are the ones I highlighted in yellow and
Yeah,
said
'cause
no, I
even
didn't
like
double
the-
that because I'm hoping it's not double what it was for 6 months. So
Because even like the wastewater is between, it's about the same.
yeah, it is about the
15,
same, yeah.
$1,500 to $1,800 on average, and we're already 3,000 in the first 6 months, and it's just yellow at 5.
Do you order postcards like in bulk or the postcards for the billing? I was just trying to figure out what.
Sarah orders those, so that possibly could have been what she did.
Because maybe that's something we don't buy every year. And then,
We have a bunch of them back there on a shelf. Tons.
yeah, because when you gave me those detailed appropriation reports, that there's an appropriation just for billing costs,
Yeah.
and that's the number I took. So I didn't really pay attention to what checks went out. I just took the number and put it in the report. So yeah.
And what's the contract services for the water?
Usually that varies because it could be if we paid an engineer or we paid
Gotcha.
subscription services,
Oh, I
or
see.
for instance contractual. We did have an issue with Campstrip didn't get us an invoice for our annual service contract, which was over $2,000, and then come to think of it, they were supposed to bill us before now this year, and they still haven't done it. Because then what they did this year, we ended up paying last year's this year because they sent us this nastygram, and I'm like, well, you never gave us an invoice for
Yeah.
2024.
The where does the Merrill takes the sludge, right?
Yeah, so anything sludge related,
It's liquid, correct?
it's all liquid. Yeah. So
Does Biotown take liquid? I know they take solids. That's where we send ours. I just didn't know if it was worth asking if
Well-
Biotown if they could do a better
better deal.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, the trucking, because what they're doing, they're taking it, they're land applying it. We're up to what, 12 and a half cents a gallon right now. And so, yeah, it's a matter for me. It's just that one's a pretty simple numbers game. The problem, so Biotown, yeah, they would have a permit to take because they're taking yours. Well, I don't know. The trucking might be the problem. Is how much trucking it takes to get there. Because Merrill Brothers, the price we get from Merrill Brothers is based on how close we are to their facility in Galveston, Kokomo area. So,
Okay.
but no,
I was just
it'd
curious.
be worth
I
because
was-
as I've told you before, it's very frustrating. I mean, even soup consistency of the biosolids we're getting rid of, it's 3%, which means it's 97% water is
Oh.
what we're sending out. I mean, you're
But
not going to look at it in a jar and say that's water, but
But
it's,
we can't afford a press.
yeah, presses, and they're just not, the price is not what I call linear. Like the Tate and Lyle buys a press for X amount, and ours is that much less because we're that much smaller. No, that we end up paying close to what they paid, which then the piece of machinery never pays for itself in the savings of making. You basically take the liquid and you make it a solid, which it looks like. I mean, where it works good, it looks like dirt. I mean, it looks like good black dirt. So, but our only option is to put in what's called a drying bed. And it's just, if a grant comes up, great. If not, it basically would take 10 years, but it's awesome. If it rained all summer, drying bed's not going to work very good because you're raining you're adding water to all that. During the winter, they don't work. They were very inconsistent on how they work. But like I said, the plus of them, they're very simplistic. So anyway, yeah, so I'll pay. It's worth a phone call.
That's all I had. Was just the figure out a way to reduce the.
So you want me to change?
Well, you could bump.
Well, to me,
You could bump wastewater's
and
percentage
Sean.
a little bit on some of these. You could bump the wastewater percentage for now. Like I told you, these percentages rarely ever stay the same from year to year. This was the one.
Yeah, it's just
This has been the most fair as far as how much time I'm spending or Sean's spending. This one's been the most fair, but I mean, I agree with you. Water can't handle it right now. So
it's definitely not feasible.
So I mean, you could.
So what do you want the percentages to be? For like go to utility and street superintendent where it says 40% and 40% for water and wastewater. Do you want them at 10 and
I think an easy one.
You could raise general. You can't raise MVH. Now, like I said, anything we mess with on general, we'll have to go back to our general thing and
An easy one.
modify it.
An
but-
easy one that we could do, and it wouldn't change probably anything, would be the part-time laborers.
Yeah, because we
Because
could.
we have 75%
Yep, I
left.
agree.
So to me, and that it doesn't change the budget any way, shape, or form. But if you take the part-time laborers, I mean, you could probably take.
You could do at least probably 15, if not 20.
I was gonna say you could probably go down to.
20 and add 20 to
You could probably
wastewater?
go.
Or do you want to add some to general and some to wastewater?
Well, I mean, just
on the utility laborers on the bottom of the first page. And
Yeah,
the
just
second
look at
page.
Bottom of the first page.
Yeah. So yeah, because
Part-time
you're only seeing
laborers,
waterworks. If you go to the
Oh,
second
yeah.
page, then you're seeing the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you
So
could,
you lower
honestly,
waterworks to.
you could probably go like 25% on the general fund and take 15% off of water. So like 25,
25.
40, 25. That's where's the other 10 at? Math ain't mathin'.
But do 30.
Where's
Do 30.
Where's the other 10% at?
Oh, that one. What did?
I'm just looking at like the math ain't math, and that's 90.
It should have been 40. Because
You
this
gotta
was
do
the one I had on my
45
computer. It
on
had to be
waste.
45, 45.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it had to be.
It is.
So
We fixed
Was
it.
it 45, 45,
was
10?
And it's not the
45,
only
yeah.
one it's off.
Yeah, you could probably take 15% off of water and put it on general fund.
Yeah. If you look at all those, they're all 90%.
Yeah,
We
so-
fixed them, and this is the.
So do like 30% on water, 45 on wastewater, and then 25 on general fund. And you could probably even cut deeper than that on that.
You said 30 water, and then
45 wastewater, 25 general.
Just for the part-time, because that right there, I mean,
Oh, that's a decent amount. Because you figure that 12 you're looking at is only 10% of what we're paying them. So
yeah, and it's
you want
there's
mine to change too?
there's probably 8,000 left.
I mean, mine's going to be more consistent because
and then apply that to
part
all
timers
like
don't always work.
all the utility labor. Because right now we only have utility labor. Because we changed now. That's the other thing that you should be aware of. So I think we only have utility labor 1 now because I don't have the one that the lawyer made up for the rate that have the ranges. in
Yeah.
it. So you have utility laborer 1 and you have utility laborer 3.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a 2 anymore. Because
Yeah, it's
utility, utility laborer 3 goes from Brody at the currently at 14 all the way to Austin, which is 1575, I think. So, and then the utility laborer 1 goes from 20, which is at what Carson's at, to 2350. Anyway, back to your percentage.
So you want the utility labor 3 to change too, or
Yeah,
not?
utility labor 3 would then go to 30% water, 45% wastewater,
15.
and 25%
No, 25.
general. Yeah,
No.
2's gone.
Yeah, 0. Yep.
That's 3. 20.
What about
And then groundskeeper, groundskeeper would also go to
30, 45, 25?
30, 45, 25.
Okay. And then you want mine changed?
I don't. Yeah, we would have to bump. We'd have to bump that number to go to 50.
Well, I mean, if you change that one,
Well, if you just swap the water for wastewater, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure how well the wastewater's doing, depending on how.
yeah, I don't want to add. I
Mine
would
are
rather
both 30.
take it out of the general fund
And
and
you-
either
So bump it
utilities.
to 50.
But I
Leave
mean,
the wastewater at 30,
50 general,
and
and
then
then 20.
Is that about
Water.
yours, Brooks?
Yeah.
50% general. Is that what you're thinking?
So 20, 30, 50?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 20, 30,
Yeah.
50. Is that what you're thinking?
and then
We might, like I said, we might need to go back and
that's
push that just a little bit. Well,
another. I don't know where you're at, but I don't know if are you to a point that Sarah can work less hours, or she's still needed.
She can work less hours. She's not gonna like it, but she can work less hours.
No, I'm just.
Yeah.
What was she actually supposed to be working? I mean, when you first
Well,
started, she was.
she was
Well, she was working all the time because
was
Pat
like-
was working
No,
over a different job.
She was working like 20 hours a week, wasn't she?
Yeah,
She's
maybe.
30.
is she
Yeah.
30 now?
well, you got to be
Well,
technically
20
the average has got to be
20
under 30.
20,
Yeah.
29.5.
Yeah.
And I don't want to cut her down to like 10 or 15 hours a week. I think what she was doing when Pat was here at 20, I think that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out a way to ease expenses on the utilities.
If you just cut her an hour a day.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the other, I mean, because right now, we don't have an appropriation in the general fund. See, right now,
No,
she's only
she's,
getting paid out of the utilities.
that's why, which I don't want, like I said, I don't want to change wastewater's portion on any of them and make it higher. I'd rather just decrease
the
water and put it on the general fund.
Yeah, I don't know where we get it, but yeah, I
But
guess
just
I never
if you-
considered that.
If you just cut the hours and limit her to 25 hours a week instead of 30, it helps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just brainstorming ideas. I mean, I wrote down like 3 times, figure out how to reduce expenses on operating expenses. Because just looking at the water, I was just like, something's got to change. We're going to be making a change to the water rate after we just made one because we're losing so much
Yeah,
money.
because your increase went in at the very end of 2024.
Yeah.
So your next one will come in at the end of 2025. which
Yeah,
will
I
be
just
another-
don't want to read. I just don't want to put.
Have to
people
go
in a
back and redo
situation
it,
and say,
yeah, I know.
well, instead of being
Yep.
it was 9%, we got to do
Yeah,
22%. Like I just,
I'm with you. Like I said, if we could just
See, and also, and Sarah, you're raising her, shows over here proposed $1 an hour. which will be making more per
Oops.
hour. Obviously,
I
you're
meant to actually-
cutting 1 hour off.
You must have got an old copy. I actually meant to take that off because Brooke and I didn't talk about it.
Oh,
so I meant
okay.
to take that
Well,
off.
I got it on here.
Yeah.
Don't bother me any.
I was kind
Well,
of going down there just
what-
putting some
What's
numbers.
the rest
in
of the
it.
numbers you got on there, Stan?
Well,
Joking.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I still didn't put one for me on there. So yeah. Yeah, that was my personal one where I was dreaming about what my raise would be.
well, yours is not on here.
Well, then you didn't get my personal one there. The other one I made for myself.
I'll say, Sarah, right, if you show it's 20 now, go to 21, which would be a 5% increase, but still cut her an hour. We're still
Gonna come out pretty
it's
close.
going to come out where we're still gaining on our side of it. And she still gets an increase, so.
We gave her a big increase last year, though, didn't
Yeah, we gave her a big one. She wanted a big one for those, so she got the biggest one, but she wasn't happy with it, but it was, it is what it is.
And then something to think about for next year for hers is I don't necessarily know that it's fair to pay that you couldn't take some of hers out of the general fund. She's not
Yeah.
doing just utilities
Right.
stuff. So next year maybe that would be an option to. But now this year it'd be really hard to add an appropriation for that this year to balance that out. So, but maybe for next year it's something to think about. And then so yours, and then so that leaves what? Yeah, so Sean and I are right, the 40, at least the way they are now, 40, 40, 10, 10. So, would you bump? I will say the what I might put, it just depends on what you do. But yeah, I mean, if we have to go back to this, once you figure out, of course, some of this, once you figure out the percentages and then you figure out what you want on the salaries, then we may just have to go back to this form here and change some. Depending on what, like I agree with Ben, the 12,000 on the labor.
Yeah, we haven't even spent.
Yeah, you probably that one would probably be all right.
75%.
And even if it's not, you'll have. Remember, if it's within the general fund, at the end of the year, if you start having some that are getting too low, you can do transfers as long as it's all within the general fund. So like this year as an example, building maintenance. Maybe if we were low on some of the salary ones and we're not going to spend the building maintenance money, you transfer out of building maintenance into salaries.
That reminds me. Did you get an answer on where the interest goes? Like what? Or is it just general fund or is it?
Where it's receipted into?
Yes.
No.
Well, she didn't get the one she got. I don't know that I was completely thrilled with, but because you got one that was, it all has to go in the general fund.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
The wastewater is holding over $600,000 of that
I'll
money.
make note of something on it tomorrow.
So if it was based on who has the most money, unfortunately, water is the one that's not getting very much interest because it has very, very little money that's drawing interest.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can break it down between, just say utilities.
Well, wasn't that the
Or
answer you
it's-
got initially? Was it
Yeah,
all had to go in
all
the
in
general
the
fund?
general.
And I was like,
Can't we move it around once it gets wherever?
No, well, no, once it's in the general fund, I know.
You can move it in the general.
You can move it in the
can't
general,
Move it into water and wastewater.
Oh,
But I mean, if you get, say, 10,000 in interest one month, and say 7,000 is from general fund and 3,000 of it's from utility portion, could you put that utility portion back into utilities somehow, or is it?
Well, right now it was getting split up because I could
Yeah.
see interest on account in the water, interest on account in the wastewater.
That's how I've always done it.
Yeah, it was pretty much a third, whereas the water is
Yeah.
technically probably getting, if you based it on who has the money that's drawing interest, yeah, the water is getting probably more than it should. But as long as the state board of accounts isn't going to.
I mean, as long as it's within the legal parameters, you can go a third, and put a third of it in the water.
Yeah.
That's what
The
Susie
water
Bass said
needs-
I'll be into.
In general. Yeah. And that's
She's State Board of Accounts.
and I said I didn't
So-
see that because I'm thinking, well,
Yeah.
if just not to say
I
that
remember having the
wastewater needs
conversation. I just
that.
couldn't remember
It's
who I
either-
talked to.
It's
But-
either that or you need to start a separate,
bank account.
for the utility section of
Well, see, the Farmers Bank didn't want to do it that way. They wanted you guys all under one.
Yeah.
And that's because they did under the first financial, you got three, right? The
Well,
water, wastewater. And
yeah, but it wasn't farmers that wanted that. It was Keystone. It
Keystone.
was
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
it was
yeah.
Susie Bass too, State Board of Accounts.
I thought we all.
She's like, why? All of us, because nobody can figure out how to reconcile
Reconcile
with
it.
the
So we
three.
do have just one account
We
now,
do.
do we not?
Mhm.
Okay,
We do.
okay.
Which means you're getting one interest
Yeah.
payment.
but there's different monies earning that interest, but
Mhm.
it sounds like the interest isn't being split up between the three.
Like I said, if it's legal to split it in thirds, I'll split it in thirds. But yeah, that the one, like when you got that
Or
answer,
even
I was
by a
like,
percentage. mean,
I didn't
just
agree
figure out
with the
what's-
whole, it all has to go in the general. I'm like, well, that's not fair to the wastewater. I said, wastewater is not necessarily the one that needs it the most. Like, the example is, there is a fund that has $380,000 in it that just has to sit there for the next, 15 years?
What?
So it's a year's worth of bond payments. Our bonding, because of the loans we took out on the wastewater, you have to have $380,000 sitting in an account. It can draw interest, but it has to sit there. You can't touch it until the last year of the bond. And then I think you can use it to help pay off the bond in the last year. But other than that, we have to show, I assume we have to show proof to the bonding people that $380,000 is just sitting there.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is you can draw interest on it.
Mhm.
You
But
can't use it.
but you cannot use it for anything else. So we once we did the projects, you had so many years, so we had to transfer like $6,000 a month out of the wastewater for several years to build that
Oh.
$380,000 up.
What year is that maturity?
I wanna say
It was 20 years. It was in 17, wasn't it? So 37.
Well, 17 and 18. So
16 and 18 bond.
yeah, so
Well, we combined it
But
to
it's
16 with the 18.
yeah, so
20
20
years.
years total.
20,
So
38.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2038 is the last year on it. So you got about 13 years left. But that money's just got to sit there.
Because I know we brought the idea of that extra interest helping pay for the water,
Infrastructure.
when we do this
The increase.
rains,
Well, see, it's like use the term shell game or whatever. You know, you're moving the pieces around. Well, if the interest does go in the general fund, then pay more salaries out of the general fund because you're getting more revenue.
I'll call tomorrow and find out what the options are.
So yeah, so you may not be able to pay directly for the water project, but you're paying the support staff
right?
through whatever legal means you have.
Basically, just trying to reduce the monthly
Right.
expenses.
Mhm.
If you can use that interest money to pay salaries, then yeah, you can bump up.
Well, see, the interest on account, like what she's receiving into the general fund, her and I had to enter all that into the DLGF budget. So that's under what? Is that miscellaneous revenue?
Yeah, I think
So
so.
we have to show that we're estimating that we're going to collect this much revenue besides the property taxes, and then that's part of your overall budget here. And no doubt that's probably part of the reason the general fund is doing so good is, I mean, even before it was over $1,000 a month in interest. It was just going into the general, right? I mean,
No, I split it.
No, but just to what the general's portion was, like
Oh, yeah.
$1,000 a month.
Yeah, the general.
Yeah.
Got the most. Yep.
So now it's even more than that.
71%.
So
It fluctuate between 69 and 72.
Depending on the funds.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
I'm just curious what legally.
that's all
I understand what
I'm
they
curious.
say. What they say you should do, and what we legally can do. If you can do, say 50, 25, 25. If you do 33 and a third across all three, or if it is specific to the fund and what.
Well, that's why that was the only part of it I didn't agree with. That's like, there's just no way it's part of that.
We did it that way because that's the way Pat did it when we look back. That doesn't, I think we can do it whatever way we want to do it. Put it in all three. And the percentages aren't up to State Board of Accounts or anyone else. They're up to what we want to do.
I said, yeah, I agree with that.
So I can mix those up and do a third. I can do.
If it allows you to put more money into the
If
water,
they-
It will.
I'd be putting money into the water.
If they're allowed, I'd put 100% of it in water, at least until the water's in the green. That's scary to look
Okay,
at.
let me ask that specific question. Can I put 100% in the water? Because if I can, I will. I don't care.
I mean, it's just to me, and if they allow you to do that, say wastewater starts running red,
You just keep switching it around to
yeah. I mean, at least
dance with it.
at least get back to where is it?
A couple years ago.
That right there.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Yeah, cash reserves. Yeah.
Yes.
It's better. It's. I'm saying it's better right now than it was when I did that, but it's not much. I mean, you might as well just figure that's what it is. So.
No, I mean, it's just these numbers, revenue and expenses every year.
Oh, and how much?
They're
it jumped, yeah.
they're fairly close.
Yeah.
22 was somewhat bad, but
Well, 22 was also the meter project year. Where we
Yeah.
bought extra brass. And
but we
stuff
didn't
like that.
do it.
But
We haven't done anything this year.
Yeah, we haven't done any of that this year.
So that's what if that's what it is now. What's next year gonna look like? Is it worse?
Yeah, because the 1 year where you see we were in the green,
Can of worms tomorrow.
Yeah.
to me that was a fluke. I mean, we
An all-day
didn't have our
sucker, I
name
bet.
set.
Yeah.
And so
Hey,
that was we got
A few
we
bills
got
and that's
lucky.
all. I got all day to do that.
Could get lucky this winter. I don't know, but I doubt it based on
That'll be fun.
the trend that we're seeing right now. So okay, so interest. You're left with the percentages before you get to the salary part. You're left with the percentages for Sean and I. So what's your thoughts there? Off the general. Well,
General
you'd have to, like I said, you're almost have to.
5 or 10, and then
Let me see what
wastewater 5 or 10, and waterworks down
So
20.
the MVH were restricted to the 10% on both Sean and I.
Yeah.
And then the general can go up.
How much you want the general go up? You want to go up 10, or you want to go up 5 and do wastewater 5?
I'd rather do 5.
So 15 on general, 45 on water works.
It'd be 40. No, it'd be 35 on waterworks, 40 on wastewater,
No, I have 40 already on water. Waterworks, yeah.
35 on waterworks.
And then the other two stay the same.
Yeah, just change the general from 10 to 15.
And then
And the
not change
waterworks.
water or wastewater, sorry.
Yes, don't change the wastewater.
So it's 40,
just-
35, 15, and 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, if you look at this form, we did. I mean, that part is working. I mean, it's showing a decrease in labor. It's just everything else
Yeah, I'm
went
just
up so
trying
bad.
to.
So
And then you want to do the same thing on Sean?
Yep, operator.
no matter of fact, it's been a little bit since I looked at it. If you look at wastewater, it's the same thing. Wastewater, I still haven't figured that one out. Why water? The projection on water shows going down 1.7% on labor this year. Wastewater show going down 6%. And maybe, I'm not real sure where that. Yeah, it's not. The number amount's not
Do
huge,
you want to try to?
but I'm looking at a different sheet than you're looking. I'm looking at this one like total.
Mhm.
It did it's what we did last year for this year has made a difference because the labor is down, and some of that's the part time because this top thing on like wastewater labor and water labor would include anybody, me, Sean, part time guys. So overall, what we did last year for this year's budget has helped because it's showing a decrease in labor. It's just the non-labor costs have went up enough to, at least on water. Wastewater actually has seen a better year overall. But we're still figuring out some of what's covered under the lightning strike and what's not, but we're still working on that. So.
Okay.
So yeah, with these changes you're making now should, in theory, help a little more next year, especially with the water going up another 9%. So
Okay.
So just revisit it.
yeah, I could
halfway
see,
through the year.
like I said, I could see it 6 months us having to revisit some of these numbers on the general fund, but we can leave it as is for now. So now you're left with the fun part.
But you've got everything down here except for,
Well, Ed's is blank.
Yeah,
And he told me to leave it blank.
that means he's working for free.
Yeah. Well, the raise
Thanks,
portion.
Ed.
The raise portion. I love
Oh, okay.
Told me he was working for free for that 10 weeks vacation.
Yeah. He's over there scribbling some math out now to figure it out. Yeah.
So I'm getting closer with his license.
I have not
I don't think
talked to
I've
him again. He said he would
This
give me
one?
an answer this year as to whether he is going to continue to pursue it or not. So,
So we still don't know then, so.
I
Possibly.
left it. I left it in there because I really hope he does.
Mhm.
And that so it shows basically the kind of percent he could be looking at if he gets it next year.
What was the cost of living last year? You know?
What are you saying? What you did last year?
No,
What
no,
the
no,
actual
no,
cost was?
actual.
Actual, that I couldn't tell you.
I don't know either.
I'm Googling
I
it.
think the inflation
I wanna
went
say-
down a little bit this year, but
I want to say it was like mid to upper twos. That's what I thought COLA was. I want to say it was like 2.4, 2.6, something like that.
It says 3.0 here, 2.5. Let me look. Cost of living generally. Okay, that's just general. Social security benefits saw 2.5%. COLA for January 2025, 2.5.
2.5. Well, Chad, what was your wish list?
I actually didn't have one. I just made decisions. So I just like I told you last year, I'm really hesitant to throw a number for myself. So
Because last year, both of you had 6%.
Are these
Correct.
actual plants?
Plants, actual plants.
yeah. So the one page that's labeled,
No, Wednesday.
I labeled them in 2 different colors, so you'd be able to tell the previous year from the
Mhm.
current year. So the previous year, I think it was 6%.
It was 6% for both of you, I guess. Ben, you're the numbers guru. What's your thoughts on that? I got percentage in my mind, but
On count of 3, you both say them out loud.
you can write them on the back here and hold up the card.
You can't go backwards.
Have
Ben.
we started shopping for insurance yet?
Actually, I did just talk to
I know last year it was too late to even
Yeah.
try to.
Yeah.
AIM. Supposedly, Kirkland's super happy with it. They only have 2 people on insurance. Their superintendent, which we only have 3.
Oh.
Their superintendent.
Nobody's
Because my
laughing.
thing is like I don't want to give a raise and then turn around and say, well, the insurance is going from
Mhm.
I forget what it is, 75 a month.
100 for family, 75 for.
No, like the town portion.
So I was going to
well,
ask this guy to come in.
Because I know it's going. They're saying it's going to go up 7 to 9% this year.
Insurance?
Yeah.
Cow.
But if your guys' are capped, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're paying, like I said, we're just paying a flat $100 a month or whatever it is. So.
No, are you talking about Kirkland? Who they have theirs with?
They have theirs with AIM, and they switched just a few years ago, and they said they're thrilled with them. I got it. I got the information right here, and I was going to talk to you guys today and see if you wanted me to have that guy come in and talk at the next board meeting,
Sure.
or lady. I think she's. I'm only saying guy because I think they're. Yeah, there's right here it is. Oh no, yeah.
So did you ask what they were paying compared to what we're paying?
No, I just asked who Tara, who's the clerk treasurer for Kirkland, she said that they had Blue Cross Blue Shield. They saved a bunch of money going to AIM, and the coverage is their coverage is United. Ours is Blue Cross Blue Shield. She says they're very happy with it. I don't. She was in Sarah's position before she got clerk treasurer with me, same year. But she's married to the town superintendent. So now she's the clerk treasurer, he's the town superintendent. So it'd be like if Chad and I were married and we were the only two covered. So, but she knows because her husband was covered by it.
Right.
And she says they're thrilled with it, and it's a lot cheaper. What we would have to do is have them come in, put something together, her or whoever they send, put something together and see if we're losing anything or if we're what it covers and show us a policy and see if it's comparable. I mean, I way underused
If she
my
wants to come in
insurance
fine, or
anyway, so.
just she could probably say, okay, here's what the coverage we want. What's it going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if she has to be here. If she wants to, fine.
Yeah.
But,
Just send it. Just email us information. I can print it out. We can look at it. I just want to make sure we're all able to ask questions. I won't be asking any because, like I said, I underuse my insurance terribly and always have. I worked at Subaru and had great insurance and hardly ever used it. But my kids have always been on mats too, so they have their kids covered, and Sean does too. So I know for a fact Sean will have questions, and Chad probably would too. So I just don't want to leave it to we're looking at a piece of paper and we can't get any of our questions answered.
Yeah, if she wants to come in.
I understand insurance pretty well.
Yeah.
I had to learn.
Yeah.
No
So
problem. And because if that saves a bunch of money, that again, that'll help.
and Colfax is looking into this too. They're gonna have somebody
Well,
come
I
in
mean,
and talk to them. So
if we have the three of you sitting here and we have the person here with us, you guys might say, this is what I'd like my deductible to be, this is what I want my max out of pocket to be, this is what I want my copay to be, et cetera, prescriptions, and you guys might say, you know what, I don't, the prescription part, instead of paying out of pocket $500, I'm fine paying $1,000. Like just having that.
Let's get open discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to get you guys insurance that you're not happy with.
Yeah.
At the same point, if we can tweak one or two areas of the insurance policy itself and it makes the insurance cheaper and you guys are happy with it.
Because the kicker on the current one was that if you let it go, that was always the kicker why we didn't.
if you tried to get it back, it would.
Yeah, this plan that we have right now, apparently you can't get it. So as long as we have it, we have it.
Your grandfather did.
But if we decide to give it up, then it's gone. You'll never get it back.
Yeah.
So, but to your point, do we really know that's the best thing out there? I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 80-20. It is 80-20. I mean, it's
pretty standard.
Yeah.
Copay's 25,
20.
20.
And
Like I
then-
said, I hardly ever use it.
I can't remember the out of pocket maximum. So
To me, it'd be nice to have everybody sit down.
the deductible's higher than it used to be 1,000, but I don't think it's 1,000 anymore. I think it's higher than 1,000. So
I think it's 2,000 or
for each
2,500.
individual, and then it's I can't remember what the rest of it is. I actually
But
I
it wouldn't
keep
hurt to
printing
sit
them
down
out, and then I keep forgetting what they I keep printing them out because I keep forgetting what
I
it
just
says on
remember,
there.
I just
and then-
remember last year it was too late to change because it was already pretty much done. But all right.
Yeah, if you go back to that,
Make this out too.
not that I really want to do that. Where is that? So far, based on what we paid this year. So there's another weird one. So on the wastewater, if you look at Health Life Dental for this year, we're on track to be 4% less. Cheaper.
Oh. That's dental?
That's all together. So I put it under one thing that's wastewater. Where's my water one? So I was curious if we changed the split or something because so the wastewater, if the projection holds true to what we paid already, We were gonna pay 4% less on Health Life Dental.
Yeah, but Waterworks is up 20.
Yeah, okay. So I knew one of them was different from the other, and I didn't understand why. So, but yeah, based on year to date, yeah, wastewater's only paid 16.5. Water's paid 19.6, and that may be part of just switching them around, I guess. Who's getting their
What employees
what
coming out?
employees
which one?
coming out of what fund? So.
I'll swap you and
Well, that was about $3,000 difference. So $500 a month. That would about make it right there. So maybe last year it was flip flopped, and that's why it's showing a reduction on one and an increase on the other. So, but yeah, if there's one higher than the other, wastewater probably ought to be paying. So,
Okay.
Okay, now back to,
Are you thinking flat or individual, Stan?
I'm thinking percentage.
Across the board?
Um,
Full time, separate
Yeah.
for part time?
yeah, I mean, right there, he's already got, you seen this?
No, that was his cheat sheet that you were supposed to get.
I know.
I think they're all the same, except I forgot.
Yeah,
I
well-
forgot to blank Sarah's out on that one. So.
Yeah, it goes anywhere from,
I think they're the
5%
same. I just
to,
printed one in landscape and
0%.
one in portrait. So.
The first number you said was what I was thinking for full time, and then individual part time. To me, if you're gonna cut Sarah's hours down to 20 or 25 hours a week, to me, I would consider her, I guess, a full time employee, and that would make up for the difference from last year to give her 5%. And then part time guys, to me, that's more of a individual.
mhm.
Well, if you notice, there's some differences on what
Yeah.
I'm showing on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what Seth's doing.
Seth, I don't
Last I
think it's
heard, he
coming
was-
back.
I was
Well,
gonna-
I'm showing nothing there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if he came back, he's worth that. But I don't think he's
I
coming.
mean, I see Brian working all the time.
Oh yeah. So you see, well, yeah. So
yeah,
I show.
he's dependable on the weekends.
Yeah, and he's going to have. So I just talked to him yesterday about he's going to that same school for CDL.
Gotcha.
So he'll be capable of running the street sweeper
Mhm.
on the weekends after November.
How's Carson working out?
We're still getting there on the I'm trying to get him to that next level where he's not looking at this as just a job that he comes in and does what somebody tells him to do. That to get to that higher level, that the 2350 that that him and I did speak about at one time, that he's going to have to be able to supervise other lower paid part-time guys, or be able to independently run a job by himself. So that's why you see that I didn't recommend
Does he
getting
know
him
that
up.
you expect that of him?
What's that?
I mean, point blank said, this is what I expect of you. If you want to move up, you need to be able to do things
Well,
on
once
your
I
own.
talked to you guys, then yes, but I didn't want to say that, and then
Sure.
so yeah,
Not
once
fact.
once this is finalized and I sit down with, but of course you guys are welcome to be at those discussions. If like in those cases, yes, once I know that's the number, that's the discussion that I'm going to
Okay,
have.
good.
Is
Because you got to spell it out for most people.
yeah. So and then the Brody just staying the same for next year. And that also is a discussion that will take place as to why that is. So,
Is Austin still coming around, or
so that's why you'll see his is higher, because Austin has really stepped up. I mean, he doesn't do our lab tests, but he's a competent operator.
It's good because he didn't get a raise last year.
He
Did
didn't get a raise last year, so yeah, this is something
yeah, 'cause
since
last year he wasn't working many hours.
yeah. So this year, since he's had the baby, I know leading up to the baby, he needed He
Oh,
he really
that's
needed
this is next
to do the hours, so he's been consistently doing.
Oh, yeah.
If we need him 3 days a week, sometimes I have sent him home just because I didn't have the work for him. Like I said, that's part of the problem. I did at least have a couple of chats with a couple of the part-time guys that the old saying, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And the problem we're having right now is it's just the opposite.
All Indians, no chiefs.
Yeah, we have nobody. We have less people, not nobody, but less people who want to be a chief and more people who want to be an Indian. And I can't, like, for instance, the example in Austin is if it's a job where I'm doing stuff like this and the job requires me to show him how to do it, well, then you might as well just go home because I have to do this. I can't show you how to do that job right now. So
Do you have work instructions written out where, okay, this job is this, and you have to do this step? I mean, that sounds kind of.
some things, yes.
SOPs.
Yeah, some things, yes. So like water, our daily operations, yes. We have bulletin boards that say this day you do these jobs
Okay.
in this order. For water, wastewater operations, and then some of we have, the guys love them when I make up the lists of things that will project out like a month.
Oh.
Here's what we want. And I've given you guys copies of some of those lists on what are like
To-do
just
lists.
the whole to-do list and then specifically by week. It just depends. Sometimes everybody has a good idea, so I don't need to make that list out. But other times it's like, okay, well, I got a lot of stuff coming up, so I'll make out a list by week. And then they'll say, here, in order of priority, this is what needs to be done.
That's good.
Besides the daily operations that always have to be done.
Right.
Like, because our daily operations, one guy could work 8 hours a day just doing what we have to do every day. And that 300, 52 weeks a year, 5 days a week. So,
Right.
so yeah, if it was just one guy, it would take one guy full time just to do. And
The
that's
daily
assuming
stuff.
nothing went wrong, so that you could keep one guy busy just doing what you have to do every day. So Austin, like I said, he's not to the point on the lab test, which is why he doesn't jump to that. And that's another conversation. I mean, if he gets to that point on the lab test where he can run those operations,
By himself.
that's another key thing to get to that part-time labor one. But yeah, like I said, the part-time has a lot of ebbs and flows. So I mean, you go from having 4 guys on one day to no guys the next day. So it makes it hard to plan things at times, but you're saving. You can't ignore the money you're saving either. So on retirement and insurance and things like that.
Okay, back to percentages. Sally, you have any thoughts? Ben?
I was thinking 5 for clerk, superintendent, operator, and I guess Sarah would be the office clerk. Utility clerk, sorry. And then the percentages that Chad has for the part-time below Sarah. Okay. And then garden gnome over here is tight-lipped, hasn't said a word about it.
Garden gnome. I like it.
He's just sitting there quiet and still, just being a garden gnome, just sitting there.
What are you drawing on your paper there?
You'll
Stick
see
figures.
later.
Yeah, that sounds good to me too.
So are you thinking 5 on the Brooke and Chad? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, Brooke, Chad, Sean, and Sarah.
Yeah. That was
'Cause
the
I feel
number I
like
had.
if we're gonna cut, if that's what we decide to cut Sarah's hours back just a little bit, so
She got a raise, but we're cutting back her hours.
Yeah. Only by 1 hour a day.
and then
Well, she worked down
Yeah.
the part-time guys down below.
30.
What'd you ask?
How many hours she work?
I have no idea on those. I'll leave. I mean, Chad knows better on that. So,
28, 29,
what they're doing.
Okay.
somewhere in
but
there.
I'm good with the 5% on both Brooke and Chad. And as far as Ed, looks like, do you have a number in mind, Ed? Besides 100,000?
Have we
I
not
was
already
gonna
gone
go
over
105, but I'll settle for 100.
Thank you.
Moving on.
And only 8 weeks of vacation, yeah.
Yeah, back off 2 weeks.
Uh,
I mean, not his raise, right?
it looks like,
Isn't that what that is?
Or his
if I'm not
raise is-
mistaken,
I don't know.
that we had, 76 that you had written down total for Marshall. If you take off the 24,000 for the 2,400 up for the insurance, you're at 73.6 for the year. But forget about 10 weeks.
There's those. And then I haven't figured that one out. But
Sarah's.
if it's exactly, if you're just exactly 5%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that one actually did work out. That's exactly $1. So
I guess my question to that, Stan, is why would you take that off?
Why would I take what?
The 2,400 per year?
Insurance?
Because
No, I was just
What's
saying that they had 76 allotted.
2684.
well, right, but I guess I'm asking if I was to ask for the insurance, right?
Uh-huh.
That what does
Yours
insurance
is
cost per
yours and I
employee?
a total number.
What is what?
That's an
Insurance
hourly
cost
number.
per
That's an
employee.
hourly number.
Okay.
It varies on what they're
You
getting.
need that.
My wife and
You need those. You need to write
That would
that down.
be-
You can have this.
Yeah,
I've already taken care of that
What
note.
the insurance
So
costs for my wife and I
you can put percentages if you want.
$1,500 plus a month.
a month.
Yeah,
Just his wife and him. Yeah, it would be $1,500 plus.
yeah. The only thing I was looking at was it showed on the 2 spots where you had 30, I forget what it was, 2 spots for Marshall,
Yeah.
38,
38 and was it 38?
so 70, 76.
Okay, 76. Okay,
So where's your you on your I gave mine away. What's your hourly rate for him right now? For this, yeah, for 30
34.
times 2,080.
If you make it,
That's 70.
yeah, if you make it
I'm still
78,
letting you are.
if
Yeah.
you pay him 78 and he pays his own $200 a month out of that, it comes out to be $36.54 an hour. But it'd be salary.
Well,
78 salary.
well, his if he does the little questionnaire, or at least when Travis did it, you couldn't make the marshal exempt because he didn't. There's a questionnaire you'll have to have him do. When they made me do it and they made Travis do it, I qualified to be made exempt.
Is that from?
For the federal labor guidelines.
Uh-huh.
So he'll have to go through a questionnaire, or there's a questionnaire you can do. That's how I did it, and mine basically came down to I supervised more than the equivalent of 2 full-time employees, and that was how they could make me exempt salary. Obviously, I didn't want to be exempt salary, but that was I also understood from the other side of the table why they were making me exempt salary. So, but at that time, Travis didn't qualify because he didn't supervise enough people to say that he could be exempt. So, because I guess if you make him hourly, then you'd have to.
I'm not sure you want to do that.
Because you'd have to leave something open because right now you're paying overtime, which we have paid a little overtime to Sean this year. So, which has helped. That has helped. I will say it's helped me. I don't, and I think it's helped the town too. But it's helped me with the ability of, I need you to stay over today. Yeah, I know you got 40 hours. I need you to stay over today because we need to get this done. So, whereas before it was like, nope, you're going home because we're not earning any more comp time. So,
Ed, what's your thinking? Salary, and then pay insurance, and
If he can be salary eligible.
yeah.
well, I don't. It's been so long since I took that questionnaire. It's something you can do online, and see if you're because with the part-time, with how many part-time deputies you've got, that may qualify you as more than the equivalent of 2 full-time employees. So, For me, it didn't take too much. I mean,
So
yeah,
he
we
had-
have enough part
He
time
has
guys
to do
and
the
Sean.
questionnaire.
Yeah, well, that's what Bill Croto is the one that had us do it. He said, here's the website. You guys go fill this out and answer the questions, and it will tell you whether you're exempt eligible or not.
So we just have to have his done by October, correct?
Yeah, which I mean,
Is that something you can
The numbers
figure
you-
out and come back and let us? Because I don't want to shoot a number out
Yeah.
hourly, and then it come back and you're going to work 50 hours a week, and the 78 is now 98
That's
with
okay.
your overtime. Does that make sense? I'd rather try to figure out an hourly rate if you're going to be hourly, but if you're going to be salary, this is set up. Please have a better idea.
Well, I guess they're not going to ask. Are you opposed if you qualify for salary, or are you going to be opposed to being made exempt salary? Okay.
I think that would help. That way we know where we're at, you know where you're at. And, you know, it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah, because if I'm on your side of the table, I understand the salary thing. The salary thing is a fixed number.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the overtime part of it. I get it from your side of the table. Yeah, as an employee, I'm not always. Which you guys have been a lot more. It's been pretty flexible. Like this Friday, unless the place is burning down, I'm planning on not being here Friday because of the weekend and Sunday and all that stuff. But you guys have allowed me that flexibility. I mean, so I appreciate that.
We appreciate you. And all you do.
So how many weeks vacation are you getting?
Right. So all of our vacation is PTO. So we eliminate the sick time, just give you a little history. So it used to be you had 4 weeks, you max out at 4 weeks, and then you get 5 sick days. And the way it was written, we just, this was Travis and I back in the day that we would just make it PTO hours instead of days. So now, and they combined it all together. So we get, I think, 5 weeks of PTO or 200 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there is no sick time anymore. It's only PTO. So,
It's like super.
Okay. But you're looking at 4 weeks vacation. You can't have 10. Yeah.
5. Yeah, 5. Yeah, well, 5. You max out at 5.
5, okay.
We had unavoidables.
After
Okay.
15 years.
I caught them irresistibles.
Okay.
Yeah, I always had them gone by February. I said I'd call in and tell the
And
guy, I'm taking an irresistible today.
Because, yeah, Sean will be, next year, Sean will be 10 years next year. So
Yeah, he's dead now.
he'll get another week.
His name's Vile Man.
and we had 76 allotted.
Yeah, so you've got the wiggle room. I think you've got the wiggle room there. For hourly or
Green.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
depending on what you guys decide. So
but okay, then we got to pay insurance. So then you're looking, where's that going to come from?
well, that would technically come out of the general health insurance line that you have now.
Okay. Is
Which we did bump that, but I don't know if we bumped it enough for. Yeah, how much did we bump the health insurance line for in the general fund? Which we haven't seen what this next year's health insurance is going to be yet either. But
The general fund insurance?
yeah, we bumped it 3,000.
Oh, yeah, it's up here.
it 3,000?
And
Okay.
then we had, as of right now, you used, how much did we use out of it? 59. So it had almost 60% left after 6 months of paying her health insurance. So
You might
it's
want to.
not, I wouldn't say it's super comfortable.
Yeah, you might want to bump that a little bit because if we're going to pay Ed the 76, then we got to come up with 2,400 on his insurance. So you might want to bump that insurance line up a little bit more.
So what? Bump it.
We're
Be
at
safe. Bump it instead of 3. Bump it 6.
Well, 5.
5,000.
5. Okay.
So I think you got a little wiggle room there with
Yeah.
like $400. So.
55. So that's 55. It's 57,500. This.
So did you do on the other part-time deputies, did you?
I was gonna ask
They haven't
you.
got that.
I was
far.
gonna ask you what the other communities are doing for their part-time. Which, if we gotta figure out yours, we can figure out theirs when you come back with
You're not changing this one when you're changing.
salary or exempt.
I'm changing them all the way across. You're not.
Something.
But, well, I am, but I want to see what you changed because I wrote over and I couldn't see what I did. So what should that be now?
At least you can,
Okay, I knew I screwed that up. That's why I looked.
at least we can figure out from other communities what they're doing for these deputies.
It's
I don't wanna leave it,
all over the place.
yeah, I just don't wanna leave it where it is if every other community around us is a couple dollars higher. I don't want them to leave, but we just gotta figure out what that number should be.
We can make a change
want to tell where you made
on the
changes,
meeting.
that-
Okay.
That's red.
Ben, are you good with 76?
What?
They must want to replace these poles tonight. Now they've called me
Of
again.
course.
So who hit what down there by church?
Semi was going around, I think, to do a delivery
We
to
think, you know,
We think.
the night we had the board meeting,
it hit,
somebody hit that pole,
Hit the
took
pole.
the guy wire out, and the pole leaned over. And it was fine until a semi came through last Tuesday, and it must have detentioned that line enough. But then the delivery going to Teresa's caught it. He didn't even know he hit it. So we got that. Steve and I got down there, and of course at that point now it's way too low for the street to be open. So it was kind of a
yeah, even a bus,
It was
even
a
a bus
comedy of
would have hit it.
errors, and of course now they had called. I acknowledged the emergency ticket after we'd threatened them everything under the sun last week. Now all of a sudden, apparently, maybe they're down there right now wanting to replace these poles. Now this goes back to my dad's comment about an emergency or failure to plan on your part does not necessarily constitute an emergency on my part.
That many times.
Uh-huh.
So Ben, have you sold your house?
Yeah. It's, I was texting my wife and the realtor mid-meeting. We had 4 offers
Wow, and you just put it on sale?
Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, and we had,
4 offers.
You're ready to take an offer?
when I get home, I'm accepting an offer.
Is it anyone we know?
How about the other place up on the river? You got it bought?
Nope.
Nope.
Do you got a place you're looking at?
We're looking.
Someone for
Well, you don't have like a specific one you're looking
It'd
at?
probably be nice to have a place to go.
Well, we have our backup emergency plan. It's subject to us finding suitable housing.
Okay.
So like we have to find a house first or a
Mhm.
place to go, and all 4 people said they were okay with that. And
But you're talking about moving like 30 days or something. No?
no, like I don't know how many. I think these people said. No, I gotta look at it again.
Your head's probably spinning right now.
They gave us 30 days to find a house.
Oh,
That's how much
Nice.
For what they offered, I told my wife, I said we will rent.
you have to.
Like I'll move twice. I don't care. But our backup, like if we can't find anything, is my sister-in-law owns
you want me to shut the live feed off or no? Oh, thank you.
owns
Not
a
that it matters, but
34-foot RV. There's an empty lot.
shitter's full.
Guy works down. He works in Alcoa. Left hand, I don't. I can look his name up. Yep.
Thank you for taking care of
He owns like
yourselves.
50.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Wasn't very hospitable of us. Sorry.
He owns like.
I thought nobody would want to come to this
Didn't
meeting.
fall asleep. That's good.
He should have he stopped it.
That's my friend.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I think he's creepy.
On one of his lots, hooked up to his well and septic. He basically just said, just mow the grass, and they can keep their RV down. So